Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to WOR Legacy Division. We are here tonight for season number 4. It is round number 6 of the championship as we take in the Brazilian Grand Prix from, of course, the Ultra Drummer Jose Carlos Pache, or the Ultra Drummer to Interlagos, however you like to call this track. My name is James Head. I'm going to be taking through the stream, of course, as always, and joining me in the commentary box, although we might not be on the cameras because of my technical glitches that is currently going on, it is Mr. Jota. Jota, how you doing?
Yeah, nice to be alongside you for this one in what was a little bit of a scare getting here earlier, but we've cut the traffic and we've managed to get through here, and hopefully no traffic issues for the drivers on circuit here tonight. It's typical issue, isn't it, in qualifying for the Brazilian Grand Prix, but hopefully, as with usual in World Online Racing Legacy Division, this track usually brings some spicy action.
It does usually bring some spicy action indeed. Drivers are in an intermediate compound tyre lap, so we will have a look through the standings first and foremost coming into tonight. And it is F7R Esports that lead the way on 197 points. First time, I think, all season that they've been leading, that's for sure. Team Chazoo there in second on 186. Novus Racing, thanks to Smokey, not Kai Pearson, as I mentioned earlier on social media, in third, picking up that penalty for the second week in a row. He's on, they're on third on 180 points as a result of that, demotion down to fifth. E8 fourth on 166, then Bunker Racing Team in fifth on 81. Team TF10 in sixth on 73. Daddlepad, who won for NLR, of course, here tonight. He got the win, of course, in Azerbaijan 2 weeks ago, and they are in 7th on 65 points. TTM in 8th on 48. Not looking good for Mr. Jota's team right now. CPI in 9th on 45. Outplayed Racing in 10th on 29. And then L-Plan, who still haven't overtaken Outplayed Racing, even though it is a 10-car championship, a 10-team championship. They are the 11th team there, down on 18 points. F7 are leading the way, Jota. 11 points situated between the front two. 17 points covering the top three. Going to be really, really close, I think, out on track tonight. Certainly with unpredictability normally of Brazil, as Tom there's just gone quicker than 111.7.
Yeah, but of course on the intermediate tyres, the drivers are just getting themselves sort of ready and burning some rubber down on the circuit. NLR's Ryan coming across the line alongside Daddlepad as well for more of the drivers wanting to really push to be the fastest out there at a circuit, which of course has got a lot of history behind it. But I'm certainly looking forward to seeing how the likes of ET8 are going to be sort of developing. Of course, they're 31 points now back in what has become a little bit of a pot of top four teams, haven't they? But they've kind of lost their way, haven't they? Since that win at Monaco, they've not really been able to generate the results that perhaps we'd expect them to, considering this precedent that they set so early on in the championship. So let's see what that week break has allowed the teams to do and have that little refresh that I'm sure that they've been needing. But so far, so good at the moment for Novus Racing. Gabba leading the way again, of course, on that intermediate tyre, 111.276.
Yeah, 111.276. We should be seeing 107s, I think, around here, to be honest. 108s potentially from the guys out on track, so we will see probably about a 4-second improvement from the inters into the dries before they're out on top, as you mentioned. Ryan second, Kai Pearson there in third. Furious currently on a lap time. The Williams now coming in toward the right-hander of turn number 10 at Duckbill Corner, or Bico de Pato at turn number 10. Then into the left-hander at turn 11 at Magudio and towards turn 12 at Junsao. Gabor, Ryan and Kai Pearson are currently the top three. 54 flat from the middle sector from Furious. Of course, Furious formerly Parnell Racing, formerly BRT as well back in the day here in Legacy Division. Now coming through the final corner on the run to the line. Now with TTM. Good signing, I've got to say, for TTM as well. Furious to the line, should go quicker, and he actually goes second with a 111.3. So not a bad lap time at all from Furious. Recent signing to TTM, and currently up there, even though it is intermediate running, he's there in second ahead of Ryan, Kai Pearson, Daddlepad. That'll fill him with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, will do it. I think that will give Stonks a kind of a benchmark to look for as well, considering that it's only a 10th off of the fastest lap time on these intermediate tyres. So this is all going to be about now what TTM can do from the back of a run of 5 races, one of which they really should have been in there, you know, towards the front. So what is this week, you know, been like for the likes of TTM, I wonder? Of course, they've got, you know, a big roster of drivers, you know, with plenty of experience that are looking to try and develop their current roster and really push towards the front. Furious is one of them and immediately showing his worth, but there's plenty of drivers that are now back in the pit lane getting ready to put a set of softs on. Daddlepad, Ryan, both of the NLR drivers, they're in now for the set of soft tyres. Gabba also in as well. I don't expect anyone else to be leaving on a set of intermediates, but the first person to be leaving on a set of softs will be the EPL driver of Rayan.
Yeah, no, at least EPL Rayan has actually changed his gamer tag compared to NLR Rara that we had a few weeks ago. Rayan there in 13th position. He's on that set of soft compound attire. Looks like at the minute we've got the Christian Block fan club now joining us in the chat. Christian Krausen there saying I'm here to watch Christian Block. Liam saying he's gonna try and get Block into Q2. And Christian, remember, is an engineer and a manager for Veloce Academy. So obviously with that wildcard scenario, he's here, of course, representing in the Haas team, representing EPL, which I think is a very good signing for them. But considering he's just put in the chat, he hasn't done a competitive race in 7 months and he invalidated 3 times on PSGL Brazil, definitely not going to be filling themselves with a lot of confidence, put it that way. He's already putting himself down.
I mean, insert obvious joke here, isn't it? When everyone starts overtaking him, we say, is that Block? Because everyone overtakes into Jun Shao. So, that'll be something to look forward to, I'm sure. But yeah, nice to have Christian Block actually racing here tonight. And I'm sure it's going to be a barrel of laughs nonetheless. Curiously, by the way, as I'm just keeping an eye out on sort of strategies here, of course, everyone is going to be starting on any tyre they want. That rule of being on a tyre at, at a certain point and then taking that to the grid no longer applies. But curiously, none other than Furious is actually leaving the pit lane right now on a set of medium tyres. So he's very keen to have a go and possibly do a little bit of a long-run simulation with only 10 minutes of racing to go, I wonder. Or he thinks that he's going to be able to get through to Q2, no issue at all, on a set of mediums. Now, the tyre degradation around here is not obviously well known to be that aggressive, so perhaps he's just wanting to save a set of softs, and is there potentially a different strategy on the cards for Furious and TTM tonight? So that is a very curious decision there from Furious.
Yeah, it's very curious, but it could also mean that he is going to try and transition to a set of soft compound tyre within the race. A 50.9, by the way, from Rayan in the middle sector. Not looking too bad, the EPL man. Now coming up the hill in towards the beat of dust boxes at turn 13, and now down the hill, cascading all the way in towards the final corner. And now on the run to line with the EPL man. He will go quicker out of everyone. It's absolutely guaranteed. It's a 107.7 to start off the night. So not a bad lap time there at all from him. We're nearly in the mid 107s, to be honest, even with that lap time. So I think drivers are going to be aiming maybe to around a 107.4, 107.3 potentially as the pole lap here in Q1. Of course, we've got Q2 and Q3 coming up after this as well. So that is going to be really interesting. But Furious, as you mentioned there, is the next man to set up on a lap time. Currently P3 on a set of medium compound tyres. The only one out there on that set of medium compound tyres there as well. So hopefully it'll be very good for him as Furious now. Hopefully not going to be Furious with this lap coming down in towards turn 1.
Curiously taking a different line coming through the final corner actually as well, so not wanting to use up all the road on the inside line and actually sticking to the outside, which last thing you kind of want to do there. If people have burnt a lot of rubber down with the intermediate tyres, you're going to have a little bit of pickup on the right-hand tyre, but seems to be handling it okay as it goes through into turn 4. Chucks the car in through the left-hander, mounting the curbs but not bottoming out very nicely indeed. Avoid these bit of traffic around here. Of course, all the traffic I've managed to avoid is obviously now on the circuit, going through the right-hander, and the rear end, you can see, is just not feeling it at the moment. Is he out there on these medium tyres is Furious? That rear end looking a little bit precarious, able to hold it, but he's not chucking the car in as aggressively as I think he wants to at the moment. Going through the right hand, a little bit of a lock-up and missing the apex, and he'll keep it hooked to the left-hand side as he avoids that McLaren. And then look at the traffic out here at the moment, as it looks like the Alfa Romeo may have ever so slightly blocked him, as it caused him a little bit of an issue, I wonder, but he is getting a draft at the least, so we'll see how much time he does get as a result of this one. DRS open, chucks it to the left-hand side, and then goes back to the right as it comes across the line right now, and got only a 1:08.0 on a set of medium tyres. I do think he was distracted ever so slightly by the BRT man, though.
Yeah, that was BRT Justin, I think, just on a lap time ahead of him, so it was very off-putting, but he goes there second. And I think with that slipstream helping, it probably would have been around about a 108.2, 108.3, I think, if it wasn't for that slipstream. So very, very cautious there from Furious. Obviously taken to the left-hand side, didn't want to run. As Stonks there goes quickest with a 107.5, so not a bad lap time there at all from him. Leonardo now on the run to the line for ET8. ET8 Wiener there going second, formerly CPI. Formerly outplayed Racing Man there going second. Leonardo now on the run toward the line. Does he go quicker? No, he slots himself though into fourth position ahead of Furious. So not a bad lap there at all from him. But Yossi coming to the middle sector. 2D on the run to the line goes fourth. 107.8. Not a bad lap there at all from him. Frankis is on a lap as well. BRT Justin's a 51 flat in the middle sector. So he obviously hasn't been off put by that, as Tom there goes second as well. Hasn't been off put here, Justin on the run toward the line. We'll see what this lap time is going to be from him. It's Stonks out on top, Tom in second, Yossi there in third, BRT Justin now on the run to the line. Not about that at all, puts him P7. But look at how close the field is, Jota, as now Daddlepat goes third. Look at how close the field is. Top 12, top 13 now, covered within 5/10 of a second. Drivers 108, 107.6, 107.7, 107.8. If you're on a 107.7 right now, I think you'd be coming out once again to set another lap.
There's definitely more pace in Yossi. There was a couple of occasions when I was just watching on board with him and he was missing his apexes left, right and centre through turns 6, 7 and 8. So I'm wondering here if there's actually potentially a good couple of tenths still in Yossi's time. Kai Pearson coming in there as well. It's 5 drivers within a tenth of each other at the moment at the top as Frankis comes across the line for CPI and it's an invalid lap on that occasion. Gabba coming across the line for Novus though and goes fastest and makes it 6 within a tenth of a second. Oh, you know, a week away has not sheared away the excellence of this championship. They are all in such a close proximity, and the best thing about it is the top 4 are all from different teams, and then of course Novus, who at the moment I think the informed team you'd have to argue are in there within the top 6, so 5 different teams within the top 6. Absolutely fantastic, brilliant.
Yeah, 6 teams within the top 7 actually, with ET8 with Wiener there as well in 7th, so not a bad lap time at all coming in. Cameron Dowd, by the way, looks like he's going to go for another run. I'm on board with him now, coming up the hill in toward Magudio at turn... oh, is it Magudio? No, yeah, Magudio at turn number 6. I'm second guessing myself. Now coming in toward the right-hander at turn number 8 at Laranhan. Not looking too bad at all. Down in toward the left-hander at turn number 9. And then in toward the right-hander of turn number 10. And this should be at Bico de Patos. He comes up the hill in towards turn 10. Pretty much the highest point on the track now. Cascades the way down through Magudio at turn number 11. And then in toward the left-hander at turn number 12 at John Sauer. Cameron Dowd's middle sector on it. 50.7 in that middle sector. Purple out of everyone. He's actually out single-med everyone else. Frankus there with a 108 flat. Not a bad lap there at all from the CPI debutant. But Cameron Dowd, the flying Scotsman 2.0, now on the run toward the line. Is the Mercedes going to go quicker for Team Shazoo? Of course he is. It's a 107.504. Good lap time from him, and actually gets Gabor out towards a tenth of a second there in terms of that lap time. So good luck by Cameron Dowd. He's out on top. Gabor second, Stonks there in third. 4 minutes to go in the session. Look at how many drivers though on a 107.7, a 107.8. At this moment in time, there's a tenth and a quarter gap between 2D and Leonardo, which is the cutoff point. Anybody on a 107.7, I'd be coming out there just to try and get a bit of an assurance and just to try and improve again, because you never know what that cutoff could be.
Yeah, TTM were a bit daft actually sending Furious out on a set of medium tyres, because I think with the close proximity of the racing out there, the medium tyre was never really going to qualify you unless there is a big difference, you know, between the driver quality. But this season, the driver quality is so compact and so close that, you know, every tenth and every hundredth and every thousandth of a second is going to count. On the soft tyre now is Furious going through the center S's and then straight through down to turn 4. It didn't look particularly clean through turn 2 either, so it took a lot of curb in that one as well. He's got a couple of cars in front of him. Hopefully they'll get out of the way and allow TTM an opportunity. He's a little bit lagging as well on my side. He'll keep an eye out on that one, because of course there's plenty of other drivers that are going to be getting going with their second set of laps in this Q1 session. Still got plenty of qualifying action to go as well, and it's so tightly compact, isn't it, between the drivers, and that is just making for some fascinating racing out there. Furious on his lap though, going through the final couple of corners, then through the right-hander, and he's going to want to try and keep this close. Oh, much better than versus his medium lap time on that particular occasion, as he goes through the left-hander, then into Zheng Xiao, as then he will floor it to the line. He's already 4/10 up on this occasion. Oh, there's a little bit of scrubbing though on the rear, and it doesn't look like the front was trying to comply, as of course 5-place grid penalty will get rescinded at the end of this particular qualifying session when we restart the lobby. Going through the left-hander, then he'll keep it tight to the pit lane, and Furious will come across the line and only go 8th fastest. And I tell you what, is not going to be a quick lap time if the track evolution becomes quite a prominent feature throughout this set of races here, Furious actually might be in trouble.
He might be in trouble. Tyler's there saying in the chat as well, Furious went balance as he went to the toilet and didn't choose the softs. He's not he's not trying to ego, he's just a fool, is what has been mentioned there in the chat. But he's there in P8, 107.699. I think that's enough to get him into Q2, to be honest. Everyone on the 107, even Daddlepad out there on a pretty much a mid 107.6 is out there along with Yossi. So they're not confident. Gabor, Stonks and Tom probably are, so they can remain in the pit lane. But Cameron Dowd's out on top, Gabor second, Stonks there in third. Stonks proving my point there as he retires into the pit lane. I'm just trying to see who's furthest on lap time right now. 2D was, but he's invalid through the first sector. Ryan is the next up on a lap, and the EPL man is up by 300ths of a second through this first sector. So the Alpine Racing team looking to try and get some good points on the board. Of course, they're 11th in the 10-car championship coming into tonight on 18 points. Behind OP Racing as Leonardo was left the session there. A lot of lag going on actually from Ryan as he comes down through the left-hand of turn 9 into Bico de Pato at turn number 10. Looking really, really smooth, I've got to say, on this lap time. Just a bit of overcorrection there coming through turn number 10. Puts him back now all the way down the hill in towards Jun Sao, but he is up in the middle sector, 50.8 in that middle sector. Not a bad lap time there at all from him. It's coming out on top, Gabor second, Stonks then third. 50 seconds to go in the session. Rayan, the first significant driver on the run toward the line. Can he improve with this lap time? It's going to be around a mid 107.06. It's a 177, and I don't think that's enough to get him through.
Yeah, that's going to be precarious to say the least. I'm keeping an eye out on Jerome at the moment, the F7R driver. Plenty of other drivers are looking to set lap times here. I think the TF10 are about to go ahead and set their lap times as well, as here comes, I believe, it looks like Tudy maybe to set a lap time on this occasion, and it looks like Marcador's just getting out the way of Jerome as he is now coming across out of Jun Xiao and then through into the final corner, as he's going to want to keep it nice and tight here. Jerome F7R are at risk here of potentially having back-to-back poor qualifyings. Here comes Jerome as he comes across the line right now. Fourth fastest, beats Jose, but both F7R drivers, I think, are safely through. No issue whatsoever. Ryan coming across the line, ninth fastest for him.
Christian Block is definitely out of the session. He's actually backed off as Daddlepad there goes quickest with a 107.4. Very quick lap time from him. Justin on a lap, BRT Lou on a lap as well. TF10 2D on a lap. So these are the real protagonists that we're looking at. Marcador's in P13 as well. Could be in trouble potentially. His return to console for the first time in a little while is Marcador's. Lou in the middle sector. He is down. Lou is out of qualifying for definite. Justin through the middle sector. 410 out of the first, and he's a 10th and a half down through the middle sector. So whatever these guys are finding, they're not finding a loss in terms of the of the lap times right now. Rayan is there down in 14th. He could be in trouble. 2D there and Christian Block. 2D there going 10th. Rayan definitely looking like the one in trouble. Justin now to the line. Doesn't improve. 0.2 of a second. He is out. Christian Block is out. And I think Marcadors doesn't even need a set of time because he is definitely into Q2. He will come into the pit lane, but he is purple in that middle sector. Is the TF10 man. On the run to the line then comes Marcadors. Wants to try and give an assurance for TF10. And he goes 6th. Not a bad lap time at all from him. It is Daddlepad out on top. It's Cameron Dowd in second. It's Gabor there in third. And to be honest, for the first time this season, Jota, I'm not really surprised by who's gone out in qualifying.
Yeah, that's the first time I'm not particularly surprised either, to be honest with you. But maybe a little bit of a surprise in Leo actually getting knocked out there, to be fair. I think ET8 needed to have a good qualifying performance to try and set the precedent that they're still in it. But Leo out in Q1 is not the best way to do it. And to be honest with you as well, Wiener being down in P14 doesn't set for good precedent in Q2 either. So ET8 at one point looking like they were going to be real championship contenders are already tripping over their own shoelaces after just 6 rounds of racing. So disappointing stuff to say the least for them. But towards the front, all about NLR's Daddlepad shining away in that one. And just to say as well, top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are all from different teams again. Absolutely magnificent. This is going to make for some fantastic racing nonetheless.
I mean, look at that graphic as well. 2.5 tenths covering the top 14. That is how close we're talking about in qualifying here in Brazil. It is Daddlepad, the winner, of course, in Baku after that penalty to Smokey late on. He, of course, is out on top in Q1. Cameron Dowd's there in second with Gabor there in third. Stonks in fourth with Jeroen in fifth. Marcador's there in sixth with Tom in seventh. Kai Pearson there in eighth. The Aussie there in ninth. And Ryan ran off the top 10. 2D does have a 5-second penalty. That'll get removed, of course, for having that mandatory restart. Furious Gakowski in for CPI. Good qualifying from him. Wiener and then Rayan. And then it's Justin Liu, Christian Block, and the rest all out of Q1. I didn't actually catch the bottom two, Leonardo and the other man, of course, further down the field. But we're going into Q2 straight away, as you mentioned there. We are now going into Q2, and it is going to be really interesting. We've got 15 minutes worth of qualifying now, and this is where drivers will put on a scrub set of soft compound attire for their first runs. Beautiful blue skies and sunshine once again. I think we could see some shocks here in Q2 going out.
Potentially, I think that, all of the teams that perhaps we expected not to do so well today are now out. So, this gives us the opportunity to see, I think, perhaps the best of the best really try to push forward here. And I'm expecting Furious, for instance, to be a little bit better than what he had in Q1. So let's see what TTM have got for sure. And I'm keeping a firm eye as well on Rayen as well for EPL. It's a really good performance to get up into fourth. But keep an eye out, I think, to be honest with you, on F7R, because they only managed to get through because of a one-lap dash. So how are they going to structure their qualifying to make sure that they can have a little bit more comfort in their qualifying? Because I think that's where all the mistakes end up happening as a result. And I'm also keeping an eye out as well, if you don't mind, as well on Katowski as well. Great performance for the Cedar Phoenix Igniters to get through to Q2 as well.
Yeah, very good qualifying session from him. I know the Pole has been an experienced figure in CPI in the past, even Legacy Division, certainly this season, where he's appeared. Frankus, by the way, is coming through on the bottom left-hand side of my screen, so hopefully he's not saying anything rude on the stream, and you can hear him coming through my TV input. Kai Pearson, though, was the first man out on track, and he qualified in the end in Q1, down in 8th position, ahead of Yossi behind Tom. Kai Pearson, did we read anything into that in terms of his pace? I mean, getting outdone by Roan in the end, marketers. Was it just maybe a lack of practice potentially from him? 8th position, we normally see Kai Pearson towards the top end of the field. So his Q1 performance, is it anything to read into?
No, absolutely not. I know that you're trying to build tension, but I'm going to just slam it down there. Look, I think he's a bit unfortunate to be an 8th, because remember, there's such a tightly compacted grid, isn't it? That, in any other league, you'd have to argue that Kai Pearson could have been in 3rd, 4th, maybe. The fact that he's down in 8th is just an indication of how tightly compact the quality is on World Online Legacy, World Online Racing Legacy Division. So that's why, he's a little bit down the order, but critically, he needs to now try and find that pace to be find that extra 10th, find that extra 100th, because that extra 100th could be the difference between you starting on the 4th row and the 2nd, because as it turns out to be at the moment, it's absolutely brilliant, and I'm certainly looking forward to seeing what Kai and the other drivers have got out there at the moment. I believe it'll be Kai that'll be setting the first lap as well.
Yeah, 16.8 through the first sector, pretty much coming into Glock corner at turn number 6, famously that crash in 2009 with PK, Truly and Alonso there in 2009. Jonathan Lagarde mentioning problems on the BBC F1 broadcast. Now coming to the left-hander of turn number 9, through the right-hander now, Pico de Pato at turn number 10. Named Duckbill Corner as translated to in real life. Now coming to the left-hander of turn number 11 at Magulio, then towards turn number 12 now at Jun Sound. A 51 flat in that middle sector. Kai Pearson definitely on a used set of soft compound tyres. That's even blinding me coming up the hill. In towards the beat of those boxes there. Need a bit of sunshade on coming up the hill in towards 14. Now to the left-hander at turn number 15 on the run-to line from Kai Pearson. 107.8. That is on a scrub set of soft compound tyres. So do not read into that as much. Furious there going quicker with a 107.7. Kai obviously I think made a mistake in the first sector. Tom there going quicker now, 107.6. Cameron Dowd on the lap. Yaron, interestingly, has invalidated his first run. So Yaron is going to bail. He's going to run around again, it seems. But he's there, invalid early on. F7R currently not filling with too much confidence. Yossi's staying in the pit lane. Interesting tack, actually, from F7R in Q2 as Wiener now goes quickest.
Yeah, keeping an eye on Gabba, though. He's on a scrub set of softs as well, as he's now coming through the left-hander and come across the start-finishing line, looking to try beat Weeder if he can. Only 5th fastest, 107.7 as well. So another collection, another pot of drivers, all within very close proximity of each other at the moment. But again, scrub set of soft tyres might not be something to read into too much at the moment. Cameron Dowds comes across the line at 107.8 for him. And again, really close proximity. But that is the difference between being, into Q3 and going for pole and being knocked out at the moment. But again, probably a scrubbed set of soft tyres. Jerome is on a lap as well, and we did mention that he did disqualify his last lap. I did mention You know, this is the last thing F7R really needed at the moment, is that lack of consistency and having to, you know, rely upon that last lap dash, which has to be a hybrid between conservative and aggressive when you really want to be sort of scratching out to try and get every 10th that you can, as he gets a yellow flagged wave because he can't finish his lap. He's run out of fuel, dives into the pit lane.
Yeah, don't blame him, to be honest, at all. The 52.5 that was in the middle sector. I think even I could have shown him up in that middle sector on that down lap, but that's just me being serious. Wiener out on top, Tom in second, Daddlepad there in third. Cameron Dowd's there in 11th position, Kai Pearson in 10th. Two guys that were up there in Q1, Cameron Dowd's especially up there in Q1. I think he qualified in P2 in the end behind Daddlepad. He's there in 11th position right now, Kai Pearson there in 10th. Clearly made mistakes, it seems, on their lap time. Not sure if it is just because of the scrub set at soft compound tyre, but certainly I think it was a significant error for him to be there, because Cameron Dowd, let's just face it, probably would have been up there if there wasn't a mistake potentially in his lap. So he's down in 11th position. Kai Pearson there in 10th. Only 0.07 of a second separating them right now between what is, I like to call, the danger zone. Could be highway to the danger zone for Cameron Dowd if he's not careful. But Wiener out on top, Tom in second, Daddlepad there in third. Kenzie mentioned in the chat, but Bowman apparently is just trying to rattle everyone in the Xbox community. And Liam coming back just with the comment before saying, hope BRT drivers are enjoying watching Q2. Bit of slander going on in the chat. That's not good.
Yeah, good banter that, actually. Good banter. I'm looking forward to seeing what more we've got coming up here. So just keeping an eye on Stonks at the moment, who's going through the familiar right-hander where you mentioned that's a truly bad crash. That was awful. I tried my best to get that out in one, but it failed miserably. Stonks is doing pretty well, you know, in league racing generally at the moment, is Stonks. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got in mind. But he is currently braking and accelerating in the worst element of trail braking that I've seen in a very long time. So he's trying to really scrub up the sets of soft tyres that he's currently got on at the moment. But he is out of sync with everyone else. So, you know, I would argue that if he gets round here and has another go, he's not going to have that much time left to have another go after that one without getting stuck in traffic. So a bit of a risky strategy for TTM to send Stonks out a little bit later, I wonder, as Jerome gets a 5-place grid penalty for more illegal blocking. Of course, that'll get rescinded at the end. But it will be TTM Stonks that'll be setting those next set of lap times, as he's a little bit out of sync with everyone else.
He is a bit out of sync towards everyone else, but at least he's going to be getting no traffic on his lap time. Maybe bare minimum with the Haas and the Mercedes currently in the middle sector, but Stonks now coming up the hill into the left-hander now, turn number 1, through the centre S now at turn at number 2. Not looking too bad, I've got to say, on this lap time so far, coming through the early corners. Now through the left kink of turn number 3, running down the Retro Posta, down and towards Descida de Largo, descending down the hill and towards turn 4 and a 16.7 in the first sector, clearly on a fresher set of soft compound tyres with that first sector alone. Now coming for the left-hander at turn number 5, now up towards the top end of the hill, and now in toward the right-hander of turn number 6, through the right-hander now, turn number 7, and in towards turn 8 at Laranha. Not looking too bad at all from Stonks on this lap time right now. Coming down the hill now and towards turn number 9, now towards the highest point of the section of the track at Pico de Pato at turn number 10. Not looking too bad at all from the TTM man. Definitely cooking, I've got to say, with this lap time. Definitely looking to try and get on the board with this lap time. Stonks in the middle sector, 50.6. Clearly on a fresh set of softs. Clearly setting a good lap time as well. As now he hits the sun. Coming up the hill through the Sabina Dust boxes at turn 14. This is not a bad lap at all from TTM. Stonks could be going quicker than Wiener with this lap time. Could be filtering himself in there in the top spot. Goes the line. Oh, he does. 107.386. That is how you take a lap around Brazil.
I mean, that's astonishing lap time, actually, from Stokes, considering that he was actually burning holes into the tyres on his out lap, and then critically actually putting, you know, a little bit of pressure on the tyres. Actually, is furious, comes across to make it a TTM 1-2. That's more like it, boys. This is me really starting to show, actually, the pace that the potentially TTM have been working on over the week break. That's exactly what they're looking for. Katowski going fastest, though, for the Cedar Phoenix Igniters. 107.380 is a bit of a hero developing. Jerome, third fastest, finally able to set a lap time, but another driver within a tenth of the fastest lap. So 4 drivers all within 1/10 already here. Yossi looking to try and set another lap now after invalidating his last attempt, and now he'll be falling a little bit out of sync with everyone else as everyone is on a slow lap.
Daddlepad there going fourth as well. Not a bad lap there at all from Wiener on the run to the line, 50.7. in the end does
Wow.
improve, but doesn't actually improve his position. But look at how close it is. It's a 10th covering the top 7 at this stage. Ryan there to line. Gabor was 3 tenths up in the middle sector. He's invalid, though. Coming into the pit lane, Ryan is also invalid. Markador's out of sync to everyone else. He's 100 up through the first sector. Cameron Dowd, you mentioned they're going purple. 50.6. He is actually in comparison in that middle sector to Gatkowski, so he should be up there. Is the Scotsman, the Flying Scotsman 2.0, Flying Scotsman 1.0 there in the chat. Cameron to the line. Third fastest for Cameron Dowd. Gatkowski out on top. Stonks in second. Cameron Dowd in third. Let's just put it this way. 7,000ths of a second covering the top 3. Less than a 10th of a second. 9500ths covering the top 8. Welcome, everyone, to WOR Legacy Division.
That's absolutely astonishing. I'm absolutely gobsmacked by that. We're with the top 10, the top 3 separated by less than 100th of a second. Markador's coming in, unfortunately. And it looks like TF10 are really struggling to get their lap times in, as are Yossi as well, struggling once again. F7R with their drivers in qualifying. But top 3 separated less than 100th of a second. As you rightfully point out, top 8 separated by less than a 10th. Absolutely gobsmacked at the moment about what's happening in qualifying. This is absolutely fantastic, and you know what, the close proximity of the driving as we are experiencing right now is going to allow people like Gatkowski to go up there and show you know what he's got for the Cedar Phoenix Igniters. It's absolutely brilliant. I am loving this qualifying session, and we've still got 4 minutes to go in Q2 before we go for that pole shootout. If it's anything like it has been in Q1 and Q2, Q3 is going to be mental.
It is going to be absolutely mental indeed. Gatkowski, to be honest, if I was in his shoes, I'd actually think about retiring in the pit lane and saving that set of soft compound tyres. I'm not saying Ryan's going to improve 2/10 of a second. He probably will. He's a very good driver at the end of the day. But Gatkowski, I think, is safe just with that time alone. We've got Ryan on a 107.5, Tom on a 107.6, and then we've got Gabor on a 107.7. So that gap is there. Even if he goes out in Q2, Gatkowski is still going to be within the top 12, so it is going to be very good for him. Yossi is going to be the first man coming out on track. Looking at Joe, by the way, there in the chat, Jacob actually asking how Leicester City FC is doing. They're playing Sunderland tonight, so this is going to be very interesting. Not only for us in the commentary box, with me being a Sunderland supporter, and Joe there in the chat being a Leicester City supporter. I hope to God Leicester City get absolutely whopped, but that is just me being an unbiased Sunderland fan.
I'll keep an eye out on the score for you, and I'll keep shouting out exactly the current situation at the moment. But it is 0-0 at the moment, so nothing to worry about too hard until it's 6-0 in about 5 minutes. To be fair, that's just a Sheffield United thing, though, isn't it? Being 5-0 down. I don't know. Anyway, that's by the by. We're not talking about the football. We're talking about this right now, and it's all about Yossi. And you know what? He's right, isn't he, to get out there early, not setting any kind of provisional lap time. What is it with F7R and qualifying, and specifically, what is it about the driver pairings being so far apart? And there is Gatkowski doing exactly as you said and retiring out of this session. You can't blame him, to be fair. I think he is through to Q3 at the moment. I did say keep an eye on him, and he is absolutely flying out there at the moment, is Gatkowski, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he and the CPI can do, you know, in the race if the qualifying pace has got anything to go by. Yossi will be the first person to settle up. He's out of sync with everyone else. He needs to be. He needs to offer himself a window to slow down and have another go at this one if he ends up making a mistake, as he'll now head through the final couple of corners and go through into turn 1 with a full battery, with a fresh set of tyres, and away he will go.
Kenzie mentioned in the chat, it would be incredibly funny if Gatkowski does retire. If he has actually done that and he's listened to us on commentary and he's listened to that because of me, he can blame that on me. I don't mind. Gatkowski in P1 right now, but Yossi is on a lap time, and he is a very quick driver around this track as well. Coming out down the hill in towards turn number 4 to Cedar Delago. 16.7 in the first sector. He will have that traffic coming through the middle sector. It will especially be the case coming through Junsao, I'd imagine, but Yossi is going to hit this traffic around about in about 15 seconds time-ish. There is a car park, quite literally, in the middle sector here at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pachi, but Yossi, the Swiss man, now coming to the left-hand at turn number 9, in towards Beacon Pato at turn number 10. First traffic now out of the way. Now Williams on the right-hand side of the track, getting out of the way. Yossi getting out of the way as well of everyone. Left-hand side now coming through the left-hander. 50.6, he is on it. He is absolutely on it. On par with Cameron Dowd in that middle sector. Now on the run to the line. Oh, there's an AlphaTauri just on up on that for MVR. Yossi now on the run to the line up for F7R. He's on par with Cameron Dowd. He made a slight mistake through Junsao. The Swiss man now on the run to the line. Is he going pole? Yes, he does. 107.351, and he goes 300 quicker than Gatkowski. Not a bad lap time at all. Next up, I think, is Markados, and he is 4/10 up with a 50.5 in the middle sector. So Markados is beginning to come like an absolute lightning bolt, coming down the straight now and towards 10:15. On the run to line comes the TF10 man. Does the German go quicker? Yes, he does. Nice. 107.2. Very good lap time for Markados. That's a statement, that right there.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye out on Kai Pearson at the moment. I don't know. I think I know exactly the issue we get with Kai Pearson at the moment. He's invalidated. His car is going sideways at the moment. There's absolutely TF10 going double 1-2 at the moment. Absolutely flying out there. The car has got absolutely no grip. The front end is not connecting, and he's just drifting around corners and just shredding his tyres to bits. And I have a feeling, strategy-wise, he's going to be in a real pickle. He's trying to get up to the start-finishing line as quick as he possibly can. He's got 10 seconds to do so. Otherwise, there's a real risk that NVR could be losing one of their drivers, I render, as he's going to be coming through the left-hander, and I think the checkered flag is going to start flying before he's going to get there, and it is, you know, there's the checkered flag, and I think Kai Pearson is at real risk of being knocked out. Daddlepad comes across the line, he improves to 6th. TTM Stonks comes across the line, he improves to 8th. Jerome is going purple in the second sector as well, as Gatkowski's now down to 8th. Can you believe it? It was setting exactly the same lap time as Gabba. I'm not sure why. Jerome is coming across the line now. Here he comes then from 13th. He will then rise up to 2nd of all places. Gatkowski now down to 9th. Stonks into 10th. They've got Furious looking to improve as well, and he is knocked out of qualifying for TTM. Last person to set a lap time will be Rayen. He's up by 0.003 of a second in the first sector. That's where we found all this time. He had a poor second sector on the last occasion.
Oh, yeah.
He's up 2.5 tenths though, so he'll be looking to try and get somewhere, I reckon, probably in around 13th as it stands, but I think it's not going to be the most quickest of lap times here for the EPL man. As he comes through the left-hander, he will probably stay and be knocked out of qualifying as he comes across the line, and he will be out of qualifying, staying in 15th place. Gatkowski gets through by the skin of his teeth, as does Stonks for that matter, as Wiener is knocked out by only 11 thousandths of a second. Blisteringly quick out there, and the top 5 separated again by only 1/10.
Top 10 covered by 1/10 and a quarter. Unbelievable qualifying session. Gatkowski, probably the man that is sweating the most, to be honest, there, going into Q3. He was playing an absolute fire, but in the end, if he listened to me, he knew what he was doing. He absolutely knew there in 9th position. In the end, didn't really get lap times on the board from in behind. Wiener out, Kai Pearson being the real shock out. I did say at the start of Q2, isn't anything to look into that performance in Q1. Look what's happened. He's out in Q2. I do know my stuff sometimes. Markados out on top from your own there in 2nd. Cameron Dowd's there in 3rd, with Tootie in 4th, and Yossi ran off the top 5 less than a 10th of a second, as Jota mentioned, covering the top 5. Then Tom in 6th, Daddlepad there in 7th. Consecutive weeks NLR have qualified with their driver, with Kapor in 8th, Gatkowski there in 9th, and Stonks rounding off the top 10, 12 thousandths of a second, separating Stonks and Wiener in the end. Then Kai Pearson in 12th, Ryan there in 13th, Furious in 13th, he will definitely be unhappy with that lap time, and then Rayen in 15th, 2.5 tenths of a second, covering the top 15. We're now going into Q3. Buckle up, get your predictions in the chat. Who do you think is going to take pole position for the Brazilian Grand Prix in Legacy Division? I'm going to go and hang myself immediately on the line and say Cameron Dowds for pole.
Are you joking me? You can't put any predictions on what's going on in qualifying at the moment with how close things are. If you're going to put any money on anyone at all, it's got to be the performance of the people that are showing the relative performance out there at the moment. And the issue is you can't measure that because they're so close. I don't know who's going to be out there. It could be Gatkowski for all we know out there at the moment. And that is no disrespect to Cedar Phoenix Igniters. They are absolutely in a well-deserved position at the moment with just how close things are. Anybody could go for pole here. So let's just throw it on Gatkowski. Keep our fingers crossed that we have an underdog story here.
Yeah, definitely so. Kieran Thomas, by the way, in the chat, I think he's going for his next haircut by his comment. I'll have a short back and washing bowl, please, boss man. Not sure if that's a haircut that the kids are going with these days, but yeah, I could kind of roll with it, to be honest. Alison coming in the chat saying Cameron Dowd's pole a 0.021. Got a long gap, actually, to try and find for a 107 flat. But we needed that. 107.2, I think. A very high 107.2 was Q2 time. Now, obviously, drivers are going to be on a fresh set of soft compound tyre. Now we will get to see their relevant pace Cameron Dowds, though, for now, out on top of the session. Nobody has came out the pit lane just yet. They all are hanging on for now. Avatar mentioned in the chat as well, lap will be faster. I think it'll be a 107.120, and Yozzy for pole position. Now, Yozzy, of course, in the end, P5 there in Q2, 2D there in 4th, only a 10th of a second covering the top 5, which wasn't too bad, and then a 10th of a quarter covering the top 10. So you could throw quite literally a blanket all over the teams here. But the only teams, I think, to have both of their drivers in, F7R have got both their drivers in. Av has Shazoo, goodness me, my mouthful there. TF10 as well have got the Red Bulls in, 2D and Markedos. And then also Gabor for AlphaTauri, Krakowski for Alpine, and then Daddlepad and Stonks, of course. So we have got, in the end, 7 different teams represented out of the top 10.
Yeah, it's just absolutely fascinating, to say the least, and I'm certainly looking forward to seeing what that does in the race, actually, because in the race, the drivers are going to be all, you know, in that sort of fight and scrap, and I think turn 1, 2, 3, 4 is probably where we're going to be seeing you know, people try to be the hero, you know, the hero of the first race of the post break in the season. So this is where it's all going to be following now. We're all going to be following the drivers as they sort of get themselves ready to have a go here. Now I'm expecting people will either be on a scrub set of softs. If they've got a new set, they might elect to go for it, but we'll see what the drivers have got out there. Track evolution is proving to be a little bit minimal at the moment. I'm not seeing that much in the way of track evolution, so every corner will certainly count no matter what part of qualifying that we are in. So we'll keep an eye out and see what is going to happen. I think for certain at the moment, the first person that'll be setting a lap time will be the man who managed to get first in the last qualifying session in TF10's Markedos.
Yeah, Markedos definitely a lively outsider, I think, for pole position. Judging by that lap time, definitely on for the fight. Joe, by the way, in the chat, Jamie Vardy, I think, now having a party at the Stadium of Light. I think Leicester are now winning 1-0 in that match against Sunderland. Sunderland, of course, at home at the Stadium of Light, which is about 3 miles away from my house. So, might even be able to hear some of the cheers coming from the Leicester fans. The 2 that have probably come from Leicester all the way up to Sunderland just for the match itself. Markedos, though, down in towards the left-hander now of turn number 1 and 2 at the centre S, and we'll see what the pole man essentially in Q2 can set. Now coming to the left-hander 1, to the right-hander turn number 2. Big flick there actually coming through turn 2. Then to the left-hander now at turn number 3. And we'll see what his lap time is going to be through this first sector. We'll see this first sector split coming up. And it's a 16.7. That makes me think potentially he is on a used set of soft compounder tyres, and he's definitely going to be on a used set now because he's just invalid out of turn 4.
Yeah, that's poor that from Markedos. He's usually better than that, but he's invalidated. Track extensions are the pain of that particular corner. So, no surprises on that one. He'll have to have another go on that one. We'll keep an eye out and see other people that are going to be setting lap times in. I think Stonk's on a lap as well. He's just tucked in behind, and he'll be the first person to set then a qualifying lap time. Well, the rear's not, the front not really connecting at the moment with that Williams. So obviously feeling a little bit of pressure as the car isn't just really what there again. The rear then stepping out as well. So they're wondering if Stonks is feeling that the car feels a bit different compared to what it was in Q2 as he goes purple. It's a good second sector. So I think this is a fresh set of soft tyres actually on the Williams here. Of course, they've got that extra set now of soft tyres. Now they're through to Q3 that they have to hand back at the end of this qualifying session. Keep it close to the left-hand side as he comes across the line right now. 107.218. That is an immediate precedent setter from Stonks straight out the blocks. But I have a feeling we could be heading into the 107.1s, you know.
Already quicker than Q2 by around about 500ths of a second as well. So Stonks there, clearly setting a good lap time. Cameron Dowd's not actually improving in the middle sectors. He looks like he might be on a U set compared to Stonks. He was up with a 50.5 in that middle sector. You've just spied something? Mistake?
Yeah, Yossi mounting the curb, going through and nearly into, you know, the corner the name completely forgets me now, but the left-hander going downhill towards Jun Shao. The amount of curb he was taking through there, and the rear end just stepped out. He got a massive snap, and he held it well. Wow. But he still goes fastest with a 107.171. I'm not joking. If it wasn't for that snap, there might have been a 107.0, maybe a 106.9 in that one. That was blisteringly quick considering the little fault there.
Yeah, definitely so. Yossi out on top, Stonks in second, Cameron Dowds in third. Remember what F7R did in Q2? Yossi sat in the pit lane when Jeroen was out on track. Jeroen's on a used set of soft compounder tyres. Yossi's on a fresh set, 107.1. So it's tactical from F7R. This is exactly what I think they did last season around here, if I'm not mistaken as well. Yossi there out on top, halfway through qualifying in Q3, we've got Gabor, Tom, and Tudi on a lap time right now. Tom not really doing anything impressive in that middle sector, 57.4. He's run out of fuel. Tudi though looking good, now coming down the hill in towards turn 15, on the run toward the line comes the Red Bull man. Does he go quicker? No, 107.474, and in the end, behind your own, behind Gatkowski. Gatkowski being the man, really looking good right now in P4. Yossi the out on top, Stonks in second, Cameron Dowd in third, with 5.5 minutes to go here in this brilliant Brazilian qualifying session.
Yeah, this is one of the, I think this is genuinely one of the best qualifying sessions I think I've actually watched and ever commentated on as a commentator, period. In the, how many years have I been doing this now? Nearly 7 years of commentary. Wow. This is one of the best qualifying sessions I think I've ever watched. It's absolutely fascinating. Anybody could be up there. But again, my heart eyes are all over Gatkowski at the moment. He is flying and doing such a good effort for the backmarking team of the Cedar Phoenix Igniters. Really loving what he's doing out there at the moment. He's cooking strong, and I'm certainly looking forward to seeing what the seasoning is on top of this particular item, because it's absolutely wonderful to watch. And the thing is as well, the man who managed to get the fastest lap time in Q2 is still yet to set a lap time. I'm expecting Gabba to set a good lap time as well, and he is not going to be on any kind of lap at the moment, so he's going to be coming in for a fresh set of soft tyres and to charge the battery again. You know, I still think there is definitely a scrap for pole here. This is far from over with 4.5 minutes to go.
Kieran, by the way, asking where Kenzie is. I'm guessing he refers to Team TF10 and the standings. Coming into tonight, I'll run you down through the standings while we've got a little bit of time. F7R do lead the way in the standings on 197 points. Team Shazoo in second on 186. If there's anything interesting that, by the way, goes on, I'll cut straight back to the action. Novus Racing in third on 180. E-Tech fourth on 166. Bunga Racing Team in eighth and fifth even on 81 points. Team TF10 in sixth on 73. NLR 7th on 65, then TTM in 8th on 48, CPI 9th on 45, Outplayed Racing in 10th on 29, and then L-Plan, who currently have no plan, quite literally there in 11th, down there on 18 points. F7O, though, currently out on top. Drivers are going to begin to leave the session very soon indeed for the final runs here in Q3. But looking through those standings, F7 are obviously being out on top. They've got, what, a 10, 11-point lead, 17 points covering the top 3 teams, I think less than 30, if I'm not mistaken, covering the front 4 teams. So really looking good. It's a 31-point gap between the top 4 teams. So everything being said and what's going on out on track, it's all up in arms. I mean, I've made a prediction for Cameron Dowd on pole position. I mean, no, I'm not looking too bad, to be honest. I know he's in P3, but I'm not looking too bad.
I'm not looking too bad with my prediction of Gatkowski as well. I mean, it's all about the performance of the drivers out there at the moment, and you know, where can they find that little bit of extra time. I'm just keeping an eye out, you know, on the situation as regards to the lap times that have been set. And if I take a look at Gatkowski, you know, that it's his sector 2 times by the looks of things where he's sort of losing out here. He's lost a couple of tenths in the second sector alone to Yossi. So if he can find that extra tenth or so, that could push him up the standings, of course, when others behind him start to set their lap times. And of course, there's going to be a little bit more pressure on the likes of Markados, Gabba and Shazoo Tom, because of course they haven't got a lot of time here, and I would expect it's going to be a 1-lap dash to the end. So the question is, when you're going out for pole, do you try to remain a little bit more conservative and give time up, knowing that you can try and get a good grid position, or do you go all out, risk starting 8th, 9th, 10th place if you invalidate, but if you do get through, have a chance of getting pole? It's a bold question, especially considering the top 4 are all from different teams as well. It's going to be an almighty war going through turns 1, 2, 3 and 4 in this race as it stands so far. Plenty of action to go though. Everyone's on an outlap. Let's get going for pole.
Yeah, Markados the first now to come onto a lap time. He's now coming to the left-hander of Jun Sao at turn number 12. And Markados, I think, putting himself maybe under more pressure than necessary. He's going to go first. He wants to try and set the benchmark time. He was on top in Q2. Let's see what he can do in Q3. We'll have the timing tower on the left-hand side just so you can monitor the lap times and everyone starting on their runs as Markados now embarks down and towards turn number 1. We'll see what the TF10 man, the German, can do. Nearly riding on the grass there on the right-hand side. Through turn 1, now through the right-hander of turn number 2. And again, a big snap of oversteer. Coming through turn number 2, now through turn 3. Don't worry about that illegal blocking penalty. It will get removed. We are having a mandatory restart after this. 16.7 in the first sector from Markonos. Not looking too bad.
Yeah.
He's wide there coming through turn number 4. He is all over the shop, and the Red Bull rightfully, he rightfully backs that out. I don't think he would have continued with that lap anyways. Could have set a delta time on the board, but at least he's came out early to get another crack at things. He's got, what, a minute left? He'll be fine.
Yeah, he doesn't want to set a delta time on this particular occasion, because if he ends up doing so, he'll burn out all of his energy and have no opportunity to try and set a good lap time. So I don't blame him in the slightest. He knew he made his mistakes. I'll get there in the end. Going through turn 3 and then through turn 4, that car never really gripped on, and that was going to be it on that occasion. Plenty of other lap times are going to be coming in thick and fast. I suspect Stonks is going to be the one that's going to be coming in. He's down a thousandth of a second in the second sector, but he had improved in the first. So we'll see what it looks like when he comes across the line right now. He goes fastest of anyone so far, 4 thousandths of a second. Sorry, is it 4? No, it's 3 thousandths of a second separating Stonks from Yossi at the moment. That is just a testament to what we are expecting in this qualifying. Gatkowski coming across the line then for the Cedar Phoenix Igniters. He finds a couple of tenths in the second sector, but he stays in 4th.
Main 2 drivers to watch on. Yossi 500s up, Cameron Dowd 600s up through the first sector, so definitely looking good. The Swissman and the Scotsman right now as Yossi comes through first. In toward the left-hander now, Magulio at turn number 11. Gabor there going 5th. He's 100th up in the middle sector, Yossi, so he's barely action improving. Might just be enough though. He ran wide slightly. Tootie there going 3rd. Daddlepad in 4th. Cameron Dowd is a 10th up in the middle sector. Watch out for the Flying Scotsman 2.0 on this run. Yossi now coming to the final corner. On the run spine. Does he improve? No, he doesn't. Wow. 4 thousandths of a second down. Cameron Dowd now surely for pole position. On the run to line comes the Scotsman, and he does take it by 2 thousandths of a second. Gatkowski, Yaron on a lap time. Yaron looking quite good. 2 tenths up. He's on the run to line. Goes 7th in the end. Markonos is improving 50.5, but he's nowhere near Cameron Dowd in that middle sector. We'll still see what the Red Bull man can do. The Red Bull now on the run toward the line, the Team TF10 man. Can he improve around Yaron, Gatkowski, that sort of area? He does. He goes 8th position ahead of Gatkowski. Not a bad lap time at all from him. Gatkowski obviously into the back there along with Stonks. Cameron Dowd is out on top. Call me Mystic James. He's out on top in P1. Stonks in 2nd. Yossi there in 3rd. But look at the top 5, Jota. What's that? 35 hundredths of a second covering the top 5?
Yeah, it's 24 thousandths of a second separating 1st from 5th. It's just a little bit more than half a tenth separating 1st from 6th. It's less than a tenth 1st from 7th. It's just over a tenth 1st from 8th. And the whole top 10 was separated by just over a tenth and a half. I think Gabbo will be disappointed, actually, that he's down in 10th, to be honest with you. I think there was a bit more pace available in the AlphaTauri Novus Racing drivers. But yeah, you were spot on. Cameron Dowd managing to snag that pole position by 2 thousandths of a second. And Team Shizou smiling from ear to ear. They start at the front.
They start at the front indeed. Look at that. 25 hundredths of a second even. My math's definitely not suiting me well. 25 hundredths of a second covering the top 5. Cameron Dowd out on top. Stonks in 2nd. Yossi there in 3rd. Tom there in 4th. Bit of a shrewdy, I've got to say, in that qualifying session. Never really saw him on the cameras. They're down in 4th. Tootie there in 5th. Daddlepad in 6th. Yaron there in 7th. Markonos there in 8th, then Gatkowski in P9, and Gabor rounding off the top 10. Remember, illegal blocking penalties will get removed. We are going to be back with you, of course, after this intermission break, just while Ryan and everyone gets the lobby set up and whatever. We'll be back with you in a few minutes' time before one of our sponsors, of course, from Gridfinder and Next Level Racing. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to WOR Legacy Division. As you can see, we've now got our cameras on. All technical difficulties sorted, which is always good. Myself, James Head, and Mrs. Josh alongside me in the commentary box. Luckily, in the right position, unlike what I was going to do a little bit earlier on. But Jota, that qualifying session, 200ths of a second covering the top 5. Pretty much 100th of a second covering the top 3. Absolutely insane qualifying. And we've got more to look forward to, of course, in the race, which should be around the corner. Drivers already up in the lobby.
Yeah, getting ready now to get going for what is going to be, I think, a really intense race ahead of us. But that qualifying I was speaking to in the off break there, that is by far the best qualifying I've seen in my commentary experience of, as I said, it's nearly 7 years now. It's absolutely fantastic qualifying to see so many people in such close proximity. Brazil always brings a spice. Now we've got the race ahead of us. There's a high possibility of rain as well, of course. It's a completely randomized weather system as well. So that could really mix it up as well. Let's see what we've got coming up with the drivers now getting themselves on the track. It's going to be fun.
The drivers are getting themselves ready on the track indeed. Let's have a look, though, at the standings for the final time before we come into tonight. This is, of course, pre-steward reports and everything like that. F7R currently leading the way on 197 points. 11 points the gap to Team Chazoo in second on 186. Novus Racing in third on 180, with ET8 in fourth on 166. That's 31 points covering the top 4 teams. Bunker Racing Team in fifth. Bit of a chasm, pretty much like the Grand Canyon there in fifth for BRT. Oh, it looks very overcast out on track. 81 points for BRT in fifth. Team TF10 in sixth on 73, then NLR in seventh on 65. TTM in eighth on 48. CPI in ninth on 45. Outplayed Racing in 10th on 29, and then L-Plan Racing down in 11th on 18 points. We are about to get onto the grid. There is the scene out on track. It is very overcast. It's typical Brazilian weather. One day you have it absolutely stone cold dry and then 30 degrees. And then the next it's a bit looking like British weather. And I hope to God it isn't looking like British weather, because it has been raining up here in the north of England. Certainly do not want anything that we want in terms of the rain here in Brazil. But the drivers are about to get onto the grid. This is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been absolutely lovely weather down here in Yorkshire, so I'm not really in familiar territory with this one. I've not seen any conditions like this one down here, so very, very peculiar, though. I think that is possibly going to make people keep an eye out on that forecast, going to have a raised eyebrow, because there's a possibility that rain could start falling. That will mix this race up entirely. Certainly looking forward to seeing what we've got coming up as regards to strategy, though. The drivers are on a mixed bag of soft and hards all the way around the field, but the front 5 at the moment currently hards, mediums.
Yeah, going to be interesting. Soft compound tyres, by the way, in my notes. 16 laps on a set of mediums lifespan. 13 laps, I think, is an optimal pit strategy, basically, to come into the pit lane. Medium compound tyres, 22 laps they can last in lifespan. Probably coming around about lap 15, lap 16, I would imagine. Try and get a big undercut on that set of hard, should everyone go for it. But on a set of hard compound tyres, you can do up to 26 laps. And 23 I've got down in my notes, certainly being optimal. Intermediates can do 26 laps before you have to put in, and then full wets do 22 laps. So if anybody wants to know what the strategies are and everything like that, we will see that very soon indeed. I'd imagine, though, Jota, we will see majority drivers, I think, on a set of hard compound tyres, then transition for a set of mediums about lap 15, lap 16.
I wouldn't expect people to, immediately reject the soft tyre. I know that tyre degradation is a little bit more prominent in this game, but the track has never really been known to be a high deg circuit. So there is a possibility we could see people risk a soft, but medium softs I don't think is a little bit of a stretch. So perhaps hard softs, perhaps medium to hard, but the right call would be to go on to a set of hards, because if that rain falls, the intermediates will definitely go all the way to the end. Plenty of people changing their strategy, though. Yossi's now moving over to a set of softs, as does Tudy in fifth. But plenty of people all around the field electing to make their decision. Here we go.
And here we go. 5 red lights about to go out on track here for Legacy Division, round 6 of the championship. And it is Lights and away we go, and Stonks get a very good start. Cameron Dowds alongside him on the grid. Might pull alongside, and look at Yossi trying to make it now 3 wide and towards turn 1. Cameron Lowe will lead through turn number 1. Bit of bumping and barging in behind. Yossi cutting up there on Stonks. Oh, Nakajima-like style, but spin from Gabor there in the background. Going back to 2008, I think, with that. Yossi, though, side by side with Cameron Dowds on the run down the hill in towards turn number 4, and Yossi gets the lead. Cameron Dowds in second, Stonks there in third, 2D there in fourth. Coming out through turn 4, there's a huge crash between Tom and Yaron, and the wall. Wiener's out of the race as well. Surely a safety car it is. Safety car deployed out on track. Absolute mayhem, and I think that was all because Tom and Yaron were going side by side. They've ended up speeding off into the wall. Ghosting system has failed partly in behind. Maybe there's been separate incidents which the cameras didn't catch there. But in the end, Wiener out of the race in a separate incident. Tom out of the race as well in an incident with Yaron. And the safety car out immediately on that one.
Yeah, that's no surprises there. I think people were just getting into a little bit of a scrap there. Did I say turns 1 through 4 would be a bit spicy? Now, plenty of drivers without front wings. Justin without a front wing. Your own also without a front wing. Gabba also without a front wing. Damage for Marcados as well in this one. So we're expecting a big load of people electing to go into the pit lane. If those that are started on the softs, they may end up now thinking, hello, we might have got a one-stop opportunity opening up here with those that have elected to stay on there. And a big start for Yossi on the soft tyre versus everyone else around him on the hard. That is now an opportunity to extend his soft stint and potentially puts F7R in good stead. And what a start, by the way, from Gatkowski as well, from the Cedar Phoenix Igniters, also on the soft tyre, up 4 positions now, up to 5th. And great start as well from the El Plan Racing team as well. Rayan up 8 and Christian Block up 10. Great start.
Great start indeed. Kai Pearson also having damage. He gets a front wing change coming into the pit lane. Ryan doesn't. Marcados doesn't, I don't think, either. Furious and Justin into the pit lane, along with Yaron and Gabor. So all pretty much. There's the possible race strategies, by the way. Set of medium compound size, 21 to 23. Set of mediums to hards, I think that was, lap 19 to 27. That is only indicative. Probably not what the drivers are going to be doing out on track. But having a look at the tyres that everyone is on, pretty much, Yossi on a set of soft compound tyres, Cameron Dowds on a set of hards, a big split up in the front too, Stonks on a set of hards, and then pretty much in the top 11, in fact, we've got, what, 5 on a set of softs, 6 on a set of hards, so not really surprising, to be honest. Of course, the softs can last for around lap 13, 14, and then come into the pit lane, but set of hard runners, they'll be going a little bit later on in the race, so they'll be going for the fresher compound, I would assume a set of soft compound tyre in the second stage of the race, pretty much from around about lap 21 onwards, I would assume, from that set of hards for a set of soft compound of tyres. But in the end, drama early on in Lexi Division. I mean, it's not Lexi Division without a bit of drama, is it? It's Yossi that leads the way, Cameron Dowds in second, Stonks there in third. Great battle, though, that between Yossi and Cameron Dowds. On the run down in towards the City of the Lago at turn number 4, Yossi had such a good run, coming out of turn number 3 at the Centre S. Then down in towards turn number 4 at the Retropulsar, down in towards the City of the Lago, got on the outside line, got the move done. Not surprising that he's on that set of soft compound tyre, but Cameron Dowds there in second. He is going to have to hope that Yossi's tyres fall by the wayside very, very immediately.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just thinking about the long-term prospects now. ET8 were looking to try and get out of blocks, weren't they, after a little bit of a sort of downward trend actually happening since Monaco, and now they've got one driver definitely out of this race. Team Shazoo were looking for a good performance as well, and Tom is out of this race. They're going to have potentially Cameron Dowds on the alternate strategy up there, but of course Stonks and Gatkowski are probably going to be in that sort of mix as well, because I'd expect Gatkowski is probably going to end up mixing his strategy up as well for the Cedar Phoenix Igniters to potentially put them in potential contention. I expect Tudy probably to match a soft hard strategy, I would say. And of course, don't ever discredit the El Plan Racing team at the moment. They have got a split strategy with Rayan on the hards and Christian Block on the soft, so maybe there could be a little bit of team orders happening for the El Plan Racing team. Should expect the safety car will be in at the end of this lap, and it certainly is. So let's see what the soft tyre runners are going to be like coming out of this safety car period, because I think Tudy and Gatkowski are going to be on fire.
They are going to be on fire indeed. It is Yossi, though, the virtual Bird Manager. He now is the virtual safety car, and he, because he's on a set of soft compound tyres, definitely wants to get on with this. Cameron Dowds there in second, Probably wants Yossi to try and hold the pack up a little bit more, just so he can try and keep pace with him. Stonks in third probably being the same, but already Yossi says go, and already the gap is at 0.5 of a second, even before they come across the line. Yossi will lead down and towards turn 1, side by side between Rayen and Daddlepad. They're side by side, and Christian Block there, going side by side as well to the inside line, and Rayen. EPL trying to do the box effect through turn number 1. Lou there in the background as well, on the back, just about getting through there in the background is Kai Pearson, getting done by Leonardo to the inside line down the centre S. Now down the Retroposter, Christian Block to the inside line on Daddlepad. Daddlepad dropping through the field. He won in Azerbaijan. He squeezed him off the right-hand side of the track there. Rayen just about joins, and that Leonardo, I think, is in trouble further down the field. Must have a broken front wing on that car. He's certainly down in 18th position. Tootie there getting the move done on Stongs. Oh, they're inside of each other. PG-18, look away, kids. If they come down through turn number 9, Tootie just about getting ahead, and outside now, Ghostin, you can open your eyes now. Tootie there in third, Stonks there in fourth, Gatkowski there in third for Tootie through, and as well, Leonardo dropping down the field, and he does have broken front wing on that left side end plate.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a bit of a disappointing stuff to say the least there. A little bit of racing happening within each other, but unfortunately, Peggy 18 ratings not provided for this particular game. Judy looking like he's going to make some early inroads then on the soft tyres as he manages to make the move. And Cameron Dow's now relegated to third. Gatkowski looking to make a move as well on TTM. Stonks did say keep an eye out on them, as there he goes for the move as the Cedar Phoenix Igniters up to fourth place. Christian Block trying to catch up then, as Block will obviously try to catch a really well-held half spin going through the centre S's, and Daddlepad will be keeping a firm eye on that one, because that might just be the indication that maybe Christian Block is pushing a bit too hard here.
He is pushing a bit too hard indeed. He is the man that has set up the setup for Veloce Academy. Has he done his own setup here tonight for EPL, I wonder, there in P6? He is losing ground potentially to the back of Stonks, 1.3 seconds. Obviously, he, with that set of soft compound tires, will carry him. Kai Pearson and Ryan are side by side in toward the right-hander now at the top of the hill at turn number 8 at La Ranha. Kai Pearson and Ryan still side by side through turn number 9. The camera angle's really not giving us in. Kai Pearson cuts across there on Ryan, gets the job done. Marcados now having to pressure rise because Furious is right on the back. Leonardo there rejoining the session. He's right down on the back end of the field. Ryan there to the inside, gets into P12. Marcados there down in 13, all fighting for squabbling positions. Further down the field, Gabor right on the back of Justin. Yossi though leads the way. Tootie there in second, Cameron Dowd in third, and for the first time in this race, DRS will be enabled on this lap, and they could only pick up that DRS when they come back around again down the DRS zone in towards the left-hander of turn number 1 once again. That is because the same DRS detection point is shared around this track compared to other tracks.
There he goes then. The DRS will be open though for people that are currently within 1 second of each other now, going through into turn number 4. Kai Pearson, by the way, is really struggling out there at the moment. Oh, a mistake though from Frankis though, and that's going to allow CPI, well, it's going to force CPI into a little bit of a dangerous scenario, as it looks like Novus Racing are going to try and get Kai Pearson straight through into the next corner. Is he going to get into the top 10? He's going to go for the dive going into the corner. He was always going to do so. Frankis is going to go for the switchback, but it's not there. He hasn't got the grip. Kai Pearson, I was just saying, it doesn't look like he's really got the grip out there at the moment. He's going into the corners and the car is just not clicking on the front, but he's managed to make the move and he's now up to 10th. Oh, Frankis is getting at his hemorrhaging positions left, right and centre. He's now down to 12th here. Marcador's getting a little bit close for comfort as well in the battle with Furious. Of course, TTM have got one driver up into the top 5, but Furious, who's looking to try and get a really good result here for TTM, has obviously had to make that pit stop after that early incident on lap 1. He's now going to get a little bit of a tow here from Frankis, but he may have to go 3 wide potentially here as they go through into turn number 1. They're looking nice and tight through here because it's going to go down the inside line, and is it going to be a double overtake potentially for Furious as Marcados is relegated back down to 13th as there's a little collision, but very well taken. TTM are really going to be happy about that one, and that mistake has actually cost Marcados more positions as Jeroen is looking to try and get him to make some inroads as he goes down the inside line of the hard tie runner, and Frank is going into turn 4, and F7R Jeroen now up to 13th with TTM Furious staying in 12th. No! Gabba makes a move as Frankis loses the rear and collides into the wall going through turn 4. He's now down to 17th.
There was contact actually with Marcados. Marcados there touching the rear end of Frankis. He was just so slow coming out of the corner. Marcados there in 15, touches the rear end. Frankis there in trouble. I think he's got broken front wing as well on that left side end plate. I can now invite Leonardo, by the way, because of all of that going on. We'll cut back to the lead of the race right now. I will try and invite Leonardo as we can get him in. Should be on my friends list, should be showing on 9 at least. There he is. He has got an invite. And now we go back to that race lead as Yossi leads the way from 2D there in second. Cameron Dowd's there in third. Kai Pearson, though, on the back of Lou. Running now down in towards turn number 1. All the way on the right-hand side. Coming down in towards turn number 1. The AlphaTauri switches to the inside on. The Alfa Romeo can't fight that off. And it's Kai Pearson through. And he's into 9th position. Those mediums definitely coming into play in this race. Ryan on the back of Lou running down the Retroposta in towards the Cedar Largo. At turn number 4. He's not going to get the job done this time around. Yossi there leading the way. 2D there in second. Cameron Dowd's there in third. But look at 2D. Pressurising Yossi all the way up the hill now. In towards turn number 6. Then again in towards turn number 8 at Laranja. Yossi looking good right now. Looks like he's got an element of control over this race. We'll flick on the telemetry just to see where everyone is at in terms of the ERS. Yossi's on 46%. 2D on 59%. Cameron Dowd's on 59%. So pretty much everyone, apart from Gatkowski, as he gets contacted there by Stonks on the rear end there. Gatkowski just about surviving that. He is losing time now. Maybe that pace just beginning to tell. But the front three have definitely got better ERS. Gatkowski's got better than ERS than all of them ahead. But because now the pace difference is telling, maybe the skill level is telling as well. The CPR man will struggle as Ryan swaps with Christian Block, and EPL are going to get their groove on, forcing Kai Pearson neatly in towards the pit wall, in towards turn 1. Stonks does make that move on Gatkowski, as does Cameron Dowd on 2D. They're through into 2nd and 4th respectively. Kai Pearson through and he's into 8th. Christian Block opening blocks like Lego right now.
I'd argue here Kai Pearson actually should be given Block the position back here, actually going off of the circuit to then complete the overtake on Christian Block, of course, then ended up completing it on the circuit. I'd argue, if you're on my honest opinion, that he actually corner cutted in order to try and get into a position to overtake Christian Block, who is now behind NLR Ryan. So Kai Pearson would be unwise to now give that position up and perhaps just take the 5-second penalty if the stewards determine that it was an illegal move. Personally, if I was a steward, yes, that is not the way you race, but anyway, I'm not the steward here. I'll just shout at the screen, don't I? Oh, Kai Pearson getting very late on the brakes, nearly into the back there of the EPL Ryan at the moment. So this is where we got this peculiar moment now, isn't it? The soft tyres are now starting to fall off a little bit. The medium tyre is clearly the tyre to be on, but the hard tyres are really starting to click on here, and the sun coming out is only going to help those on the harder compound because, of course, the temperature of the track is now starting to rise. Here he comes again then, and they're going to keep an eye on that one as Cameron Dowd now overtakes the soft tyre runner of Yossi, as Ryan now makes an overtake on Daddlepad.
And I think Lou's going side by side with Christian Block in the background as well. Oh, that's a dive on the inside line, now on the outside line. Through turn 1, Christian Block there. Forced out wide though slightly. Furious now going all the way around the outside. Pretty much taking the Max Verstappen line. Coming through now down in towards turn number 3. Alfa Romeo and Haas trying to work together to try and box the PR man in. Furious on tries to go around the outside of turn number 4. He's still going to be there though on the inside for turn number 6. If he can still stick on in there. Everyone's out of ERS in all of this battle as well. Lou there in 10th, Christian there in 11th, Furious there in 12th. Of course, Furious part of TTM. Oh, and he dives it to the inside line on Christian Block. Christian Block there is dropping all the way down the field. Jeroen now on the back of him as well. And Christian and Jeroen definitely have had their history in the past as they're going to the inside line of Jeroen. Does go the F7R man on the back of Christian Block around the outside of Magulio at turn number 11. Beautiful stuff by Jeroen. Clearly the mediums are coming into play. He is on that lap pressure tyre because he came into the pit lane. Christian Block, if I was him, I'd be in the pit lane and trying to change up the strategy.
Yeah, he'll be screaming at his engineers now, get me in, I need to get off of these soft tyres, they're not feeling good, he's hemorrhaging positions, left, right and centre, overtaken now by Markados. He stays out though as Stonks is now getting into a position here. Soft tyres now really starting to fall off the cliff and the hard tyres now really becoming a feature here. So now we're going to have Yossi, Chudi and Gatkowski are going to struggle and keep a firm eye on EPL's Ryan, who of course may just start to slowly get into this race. Kai Pearson of course is now starting to get into this race as well on the medium tyres, but he's scrubbing the tyres so aggressively by chucking the car through the corner, and the front is just not connecting on the front of that Novus Racing car at the moment. NLR, of course, Ryan and Daddlepad on mixed strategy with a medium and a hard tyre. Ryan, of course, pitting early on in this race, is now suddenly going to be breathing down the neck of Kai Pearson and may just be a little bit of a dark horse in this race.
Yeah, it may just be a little bit of a dark horse in this race indeed. Looking really good. The top 9, by the way, all in a DRS train right now. As it stands, I was on board with Gabor trying to pressurise the back of Jeroen there. He was looking on the back through the first sector, and then it's just beginning to lose time in that middle pack, in the middle sector of that field. Cameron Dadsel leading the way. Yossi there in second, Stonks there in third, 2D there in fourth. Tyler's there saying in the chat, 2D and Yossi will collide. to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they do, but that is just my opinion on the stream. 1/3 of the race gone, by the way. Cameron leads down in towards turn 1. As Furious and Lou has just been outdone, I think, by a steaming your own to the inside line. In towards turn 1, the Dutchman gets both of them down the straight. Furious now on the back. We've got a beautiful helicopter cam as we run there down the retro poster in towards the seat of the logo. Gabor there now on the back of Lou as well, looking to the inside line. Going to try and find the way through the Alpha Tauri on the Alfa Romeo. Beautiful move, but he's gone too deep into turn number 4. Just about rejoins in front. Again, coming through turn number 5, and he gets the job done. So Gabor through, and he's into 12. I honestly thought he went a bit too far there on the brakes. He didn't. He knew what he was doing. Oh, my word, as that goes Markadals to the inside line. Wasn't expecting that from Markadals. He follows his way through. Lou definitely struggling on those hards, and Markadals and Gabor making their way through the field.
Yeah, curious. The hard tyre runners are starting to struggle again a little bit here, and you think with the tyres now in a position with the sun out would start to feel a little bit more comfort out there with the track now beginning to warm up thanks to that sunshine. But it's all about the medium tyres out there at the moment, as Kai Pearson is looking to be the first person to then start making some inroads at the front. DRS enabled, and he is using overtake, but Chudi's going to be the one that's going to potentially make an overtake on Stonks. Is he going to go for the dive into 1? No, he elects not to do so on this particular occasion, but Kai Pearson certainly wants to make the inroads. He's now on up into 6th place, and he's now going to begin chasing the first of the soft tyre runners, with Gatkowski in 5th, followed by Chudi in 4th. Chudi, of course, will probably be being told by his teammate, by his team now, that Novus Racing are on a charge on these medium tyres. It's now time to start making some inroads. If you can get past Stonks, you need to do so.
Yeah, you need to do so, especially before drivers, of course, come into the pit lane as well for their second stints, potentially with your own Furious Gabor looking at further down the field. Kai Pearson, the furthest of those on that set of medium compound tyres. Everyone else, of course, has still yet to pit in this race. Remember, unlike most races that I normally participate in now, not a mandatory 2-stop here in Legacy Division, just the 1-stop strategy. Because we've had that safety car, drivers will be on a 2-stop, and your own Furious and the likes will be on that set of soft compound tyre as they go through the race, possibly a little bit later on. 2D again, looking on the back of Stonks, run up the hill, in now through speed of the boxes at turn number 14. Could be under pressure though from Gatkowski. Gatkowski is beginning to fly on the back of him in towards turn number 1. Ryan on the back of Rayen. Could be an interesting battle, certainly for us in the commentary box here. Ryan and Rayen. Oh, it's a big snap of oversteer there by Kai Pearson. Nearly loses the car through turn number 1 at the centre S, and now puts himself under pressure from Rayen and behind. Nearly outside of ERS range as well is Kai to Gatkowski ahead. The Kai just about hanging on. Rayen there in 7th, Ryan there in 8th, and none of them actually trying to get that move, as Tootie, right on the back of Stonks once again, is trying to find a way through desperately. They've got to try and make the moves immediately, because track position and undercut is everything around this track.
Kai is not comfortable in that car. I don't care if we end up having an interview with him and he says, oh yeah, the car felt great. It does not look good at all. He's just going through corners and the tyres are scrubbing. He's turning right and then the car just does not turn. He's just really finding that the car is not quite there for him, and then occasionally the rear will then step out. So he's obviously got something that he feels sort of quick in, but it's obviously a very high risk sort of setup. Again, look, just getting on the curbs and immediately the rear just wants to step out. So pretty aggressive on the sort of setup front, as he's then going to have the DRS open, but no ERS usage at this point as he just sticks within the DRS train. But NLR Ryan does want to make an inroad on his former co-compatriot Ryan, of course now racing for EPL, who is now down to 8th.
He is down to 8th indeed. Daddlepad under pressure as well from your own. You're seeing the back of a Williams right now. Probably not the back end you'd rather see, to be honest. Here comes Kai on the back of Gatkowski running down the hill in towards turn number 4. AlphaTauri surely ahead there of the Alpine. Those softs definitely beginning to wear now. Kai Pearson down into up into 5th. Gatkowski there down into 6th. And now Ryan, Rayen and Daddlepad all going to get in the mix potentially as well. Daddlepad has definitely lost time on that. Not sure if maybe he was involved in a slight incident maybe, or if he's just really beginning to lack in terms of the pace. Daddlepad, though, remember what happened in Baku. He was definitely on fire there. Of course, took the race win thanks to Smokey's penalty. There goes Ryan to the inside line on Gatkowski. That's an opportunistic move, but that's an opportunistic move from the gods. Ryan through needs into 6th. Gatkowski in 7th. Rayen looking on the back. He was looking to the inside there. The turn number 12 at Jun Sao, but he will get the run up the hill through to Zabito the boxes. Watch out for Kai Pearson though, as well on the back of 2D. 2.5 tenths as they come now towards the line. Cameron leads. Josie 2nd. Stonks there in 3rd. Who is going to be the first out of this big old train to come into the pit lane very soon? Gabor on the back of Furious looking to the outside line turn number 1. Tries to go all the way around the outside. That's a terrible camera angle. Please give us a better camera angle. There we are. Williams now forced off track. Forced off track again. Gabor gets ahead of him. And that was a pretty aggressive move there from him. And now the Red Bull joined in the mix as Marquez. Oh, there's a lot of lag going on down the straight here. But Marquez is through and he's into 12. Leonardo has left the session again. And while we've got a little bit of break in the action, I'll try and get him in.
Novus is certainly a team. I think they've got on a bit of a mission, haven't they? They've obviously got a race engineer that's saying, time to be aggressive, boys. We're going to send us out there and we're just going to send it wherever we can. So very peculiar to say the least in this one, as it looks like, oh, TF10, Tudy and Pearson getting into a little bit of a mixed bag here, but in the end staying in 4th will Kai Pearson in that little battle. So Tudy obviously trying to make some early inroads, perhaps on a second wind starting to develop on the soft tyres, who are still within the touching distance of potentially hitting a one-stop. I can't expect medium tyres, but certainly hards. But I'm expecting Stonks and Dowd to be considering their strategies here. Do they want to go onto a set of softs as NLR? Ryan now making inroads on Tudy. And Tudy is the first person to come into the pit lane out of those in the top 7, matching with Gatkowski.
Yep, Tudy into the pit lane, Gatkowski in, Furious in as well. Did say set us off compound tyres the last 16 laps, didn't I? And look what's happened. They came in on lap 17 out of 36, so pretty much spot on with what I was going with in terms of the lifespan for the set of soft. They're onto a set of medium compound tyres now. They will be initially quicker. This undercut strategy is potent around this track. Did you know, in terms of an undercut, you can gain anywhere between 4 and 6 seconds over about the course of 3 or 4 laps around this track? It's a massive undercut strategy that you can pick up around here. Yossi, though, definitely struggling now. Stonks right on the back of him, coming now through the left-hand turn number 9, getting very close for comfort there. Kai Pearson on the back of these guys as well. And Kai Pearson, unless me mentioning it on social media saying he got a penalty last week, Novus Racing got a penalty last week. It was Smokey. Kai Pearson definitely doesn't want one. But I tell you what, Jota, he is a man on fire right now. He's looking so quick.
Yeah, potentially got a penalty hanging over his head, though, if someone wants to report that incident involving, I can't remember which driver it was, as that there he is. No surprises that Yossi is in. He needed to get off those soft tyres. I think the car was going very light on him, going through especially turn number 5. But yeah, there's a potential opportunity for a penalty, opportunity for other teams against Kai Pearson for that exclusion off circuit leading into an overtake. So that might be something to watch. And Novus would be 4 for 4, I think, on penalties after a race there, as Jerome makes his move on Rayen on 17 lap old hard tyres. They continue, but oh, it looks like Gabber also getting into the mix as well. That's just once again. Novus Racing are showing some serious aggression out there at the moment. As
Tudy had a
Yossi just leaving the pit lane, and Tudy is in front of him. So the undercut working an absolute treat, and actually Gatkowski colliding ever so slightly into the back of the McLaren as well.
He was indeed just about on the back there of the McLaren, just about gets away with front wing damage. Christian getting the move done on Justin as well. BRT Justin on that set of soft compound tyre. He's gone definitely deep into the race, maybe a bit too deep, because he's actually done an undercut that hasn't worked. Christian now ahead of him, Justin there down in 17th position. Cameron Dowds there leads the way, Stonks in second, Kai Pearson in third, as my TV has decided to turn itself off. There we go, we'll be coming back to you very soon indeed. I didn't check there that my TV was turning itself off. We're on a black screen. There we are, Cameron Dowds leads, you haven't missed much. Stonks in second, Kai Pearson in third, Jerome there in fourth, Ryan, Gabor, Daddlepad, Marquez the top 8, but Ryan, interestingly, into the pit lane. Another man that was on that set of softs, now he's in for a set of medium compound of tyres. So this is now Ryan gonna cook, but there goes Tudy, there goes Yossi, there goes Gatkowski, there goes Furious, I'm sure, as well, passing them on the right-hand side there. So Ryan is behind all of these guys. That undercut working an absolute treat.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The undercut is working an absolute treat for those that are now moving over to the medium tyres, which is now going to beg the question of the hard tyre runners. Do they elect to come off the hards early and match the strategy, knowing that they could possibly have a little bit of an inroads later on in this race? I wonder. That is going to be the question. But for certain, those that are making those pit stops now onto those fresh medium tyres, they're certainly still in a chance of winning. A bit like Leicester at the moment, who, of course, are still 1-0 up against Sunderland. So that race is still, that game is still happening. It's still 1-0. Sunderland have got an outside chance, as I'm sure the drivers that have just come onto the medium tyres. Kai Pearson making the move as he now goes up into second place, because Stonks has come in to get off of the hard tyres, and I think TTM have heard the call, but maybe we need to go onto the mediums and match everyone else.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Stonks has to come in for a set of mediums. They have to try and something different. He's the first in on that set of hards. Gabor on a set of mediums. Remember, Gabor's already done one set basically on that set of mediums, so he has got another set available to him. He goes for that set of mediums, compound tires, and there's there in the lead of the Cameron Dowd still in the lead of this race, Kai Pearson in second, but look at how Stonks is falling through. He's behind now. What, Ryan coming out the pit lane? Gabor is even further behind, so Gabor definitely not liking this whatsoever at all. But Cameron Dowd's leading the way, Kai Pearson in second. Kai Pearson at least got me out of a mountain, out of a molehill. The slander going on against me and the Sunderland fan, an absolute disgrace here in the commentary box. Cameron Dowd there leading, Kai Pearson in second, you're on there in third. Just to throw back at Jota, how's Sheffield Wednesday doing?
0-0 still, but we had a complete BS of a call for offside. But apparently we've still got an outside chance. We might get out of the relegation zone.
Major mistake there from Yaron, actually, coming to the left-hander there of Sabido those boxes, and they're all into the pit lane. So every single one of them is into the pit lane. Bar Daddlepad, oh! Was that Rayen going into the back of Yaron there into the pit lane? I'm not sure if it was. It looked like it. It was on a wide camera angle, but it looked like it did. Lou's going to continue on as well for a set of soft compounded tyres. They're going to be very quick towards the end of this race. But Rayen on a set of mediums, everyone else into the set of medium compounded tyres. But this is what I mean about an undercut being anywhere between 4 and 6 seconds. Cameron Dowd was in the lead of this race. Yossi's now in the net lead. And look at the gap between them both. I've got back to the leader. Yossi, 11.1. Cameron Dowd, 15.4. What's that gap? 4.5 seconds. That is the undercut strategy around here. Yes, they might be on the fresher rubber, but now track position is absolutely everything. The better off you are in terms of track position on this undercut strategy, the better off you will be towards the end of the race. Cameron Dowd's there in 9th. If he wants to try, Ryan's right on the back of Furious there. If Cameron Dowd wants to try and get back into this race, he's got a mountain to climb now.
Daddlepad and Lou might as well go all out now and try and extend their hard tyre stint to the soft tyres if they can, and try and see if they can make any inroads towards the end of this race. But I don't think that's a good call personally from Daddlepad. Is Lou going to be coming in as well, I wonder? And I'm just waiting. No, he's staying out. So I think BRT are going to make the call for him to stay out on the soft tyres. I'm just keeping an eye out on Gatkowski, who was in for a potential podium position, but now down to 4th as it stands, with Lou obviously needed to make his pit stop. Oh my goodness me, Ryan getting into a bit of desync, I think, with Gatkowski, but stays in 6th as it stands. Stonks just cutting in behind as well. They'll be keeping an eye out on this battle, but Ryan does make the move.
Oh,
and the Cedar Phoenix Ignite is now down to 6th, as you mentioned, Yaron.
Yeah, Yaron, I think, has spun coming through the left-hand return number 1. I think that might have been by himself. I'm not sure if that was maybe with Daddlepad. Didn't look like there was contact between them both on the mini-map, but Yaron now has spun. Coming through turn number 1, he's now down all the way in 15th position. Remember, top 15 get points here in Legacy Division. So if you're BRT right now, and all hell was to break loose in terms of the PlayStation servers, as this race was to end at around about 60% difference. Lou there leading the way, Yossi second, 2D in third. BRT would win this race, but at a reduced margin, as I think Stonks has got around the outside of Magulio on the outside of Katkowski. Brilliant stuff from Stonks, getting the job done. Stonking move, you could say, with that one. 2D on the back of Yossi, running down and then towards turn 1 as Lewis came into the pit lane. He now backs out of the race lead as 2D's going to charge now at Yossi in towards turn number 1. The Red Bull and the Mercedes, the McLaren, even going side by side. 2D through. Yossi now down into second. Yossi now is going to have the DRS. He's going to come right back at him down Retroposta in towards the Cedar Logger. The speed is going to be too powerful for Yossi not to get this move done on the outside line. 2D will filter back through. Yossi back through, and he's into the race lead.
Keeping an eye on TTM at the moment. They're the top team out there with, of course, the fresh set of medium tyres. Stonks, of course, on the freshest set of medium tyres out of those in the top 5. So this is an opportunity here for them to sort of think about their strategy, think about the long-term strategy. And I think that is exactly what Stonks has done. He's burned through all of his ERS, and now he's going to go on a little bit of an ERS harvest, which, of course, will allow him to look after his medium tyres potentially for around 5 or 6 laps. And that is going to, by far, allow for a later attack against NLR's Ryan, and that may just put TTM in for a chance of a double podium maybe, but Furious certainly up there as well. And after a poor qualifying, he is flying out there at the moment as Kai Pearson is looking to make his inroads then on Gatkowski. As Cedar Phoenix Ignite is in rich position. It's looking fairly easy indeed as they go side by side, and that position with the DRS open is very much easily done, as Cameron Dowd's also looking to make the move as well as he gets the fastest lap of this race into turn 1. Gatkowski down to 8.
That's actually a lovely camera angle, Ryan on board with the rear end there. I really didn't mean that with the camera angles, but that was really nice. Cameron Dowd, Thuney's into 7, and now looking now further down the field, further up the field, even Ryan was looking on the back of Furious, and he's looking for that move to P3 out on track. The front 5 beginning to pull away. Kai Pearson now is at the head of the second group, essentially. Cameron Dowd's there in 7th. As I say, it's all about track position. Because they've got much fresher mediums, they are getting easier into this race than what I thought was necessary. So Kai and Cameron doing a good job. Gatkowski can just try and remain in there. Honestly, he's hoping now, I think, for top 10, top 11 finish. That'll be an absolute godsend for CPI if Gatkowski can get into that position. Kai Pearson, though, because WOR Console Tier 1 man, he is right on the back of this train already. That gap has absolutely halved in through that middle sector. Stonks now on the back of Ryan. Ryan on the back of Furious. The Williams now going to be under pressure. And Ryan now gets the job done on Furious. Stonks might have to go for the move. And they're actually, I think, going to swap down in towards turn 1. There's the camera angle to prove it. Stonks in towards turn 1 gets ahead of Furious. And because of the fresher tyres, Furious has now got to play. His play now, as Stonks has just picked up a 3-second penalty, his play was to be guinea pig. Lackadaisical, as you mentioned there. Stonks there in 4th, Furious there in 5th. Furious there now. TTM are going to be furious, quite literally. But Stonks there in 4th. Now he's got that 3-second penalty. I was going to say, if he didn't have that 3-second penalty, Kai Pearson would be the one that's Furious would be the one getting used as a guinea pig. But there goes Kai Pearson to the inside line. Doesn't care if you're TTM. Doesn't care if you're any other team on the track. Kai Pearson around the outside of turn number 9. Surely going to get the job done. He does. Kai Pearson through, and he's into 5th.
Yeah, but Furious of just putting the dummy on him as well, and that might have spooked Kai as well. I think Kai and Novus Racing know generally they're being very aggressive out there, and I think Furious just sending it down his inside or making it look like he did, and Kai ended up sort of getting baited into missing his apex. So Kai is very aware now that he is definitely within the top realms of drivers that could potentially win this race tonight. I was going to say at one point, TTM we're going to be on their way to potentially scoring more points than F7R, despite the fact that Yossi will be winning this race. But so far, Furious is hemorrhaging positions left, right and centre. What is happening to him at the moment? Is he just... I'm looking at his tyre quality, and the tyres don't look too bad. So is he just off the pace at the moment, I wonder? And with Stonks now getting that 3-second penalty in what is, I think, a very lackadaisical effort to stay within track limits, perhaps got a little bit excited knowing that he was in the possibility realm of a podium and makes that mistake. And now with everyone's so in such close proximity, it's going to cost him time. He's going to have to go for it, and he has certainly gone for it on NLR Ryan, and he's going to have to go side by side, but I think the traction is going to be there. He's on the grass ever so slightly as Ryan. Stonks is going to have the outside line. He'll have the traction. He'll have the inside line of the next corner. Ryan will have no possibility of being able to defend that one, and Stonks now into the podiums, but that 3-second penalty hanging over his head is going to be hurtful.
Kai Pearson on the outside line in towards Junsao as well. Just going to try and back that off. The Auctionman now on the back of Ryan, the German. The NLR man now under pressure. Kai Pearson doesn't want a second opportunity of this move. To the inside line, through the speed of those boxes, down the straight now and towards turn number 1. Kai Pearson is just about 3/4 a car length ahead. Ryan, though, fighting back. He has got the slipstream on the cars ahead in towards turn number 1. But there, Kai Pearson says, you know what, I'll shut the door on you. He's into 4th. Ryan there into 5th. Cameron Dowd in 6th. But looking further down the field, Jota, as well. Gatkowski really forfeiting positions. We've seen Furious forfeiting positions. At least Furious, though, can actually keep up with the guys ahead. As there goes Tootie on Yossi for the race lead. That was an unexpected move. Oh, he forced him off track. And the F7R man now under pressure from Stonks on the outside line. This could get quite hellish in towards turn number 6 now up the top of the hill. In towards the Van Hammer, turn number 8. Kai there to the inside line. Looking to try and get the job done. Yossi and Stonks are still side by side. And there goes Cameron Dowd on the inside line now for turn number 9. Trying to now get the move done all the way down the hill. Brilliant racing between these guys. Keep it up. Come on. Down the inside line goes Kai Pearson. Yossi to the inside line as well. Hanging on there through turn number 11. Kai Pearson all the way around the outside of Magulio. The AlphaTauri. Gonna get the move done. Shuley around the outside of turn number 12. Yossi cuts him off. Yossi to the inside line. It's very aggressive racing, but I like it. Ryan on the back of Cameron Dowd. Cameron Dowd's now on the back. Could be 4 wide down the straight if they're not careful. Stonks catching Tootie for the race lead as well. This is breaking off into absolute...
Oh, goodness me!
Kai Pearson never going to end well, and Tootie's the one that's got caught up in that. That was never going to end well. Ryan gets the job done on Kai Pearson as a result, but Tootie, innocent party in that has been spun. Everyone going far too aggressive. That was inevitable.
They were inevitable because they were now at that sort of point in the race where tyres aren't going to be at their best and people are going to try and find the most amount of time that they can. And the most amount of time is going to be found on those that have pitted later, and that is on Stonks and Cameron Dowd at the moment. Stonks now leading this race for TTM. 3-second penalty hanging over his head. Team Shazoo, Cameron Dowd's the pole sitter, looking to keep on here, and he's potentially got that under wraps. Yossi is now beginning to struggle, I think, already on these medium tyres. Remember, of course, the soft tyres lasted a little bit later because we had the safety car period. Oh, Ryan, so late on the brakes. Going through into that right-hander, nearly getting into the back of Yossi, and Kai Pearson will be just sort of hanging back, wondering what was going to happen in front of him. And then in the end, Cameron Dowd has welcomed himself into this battle, and now Furious has found a little bit of a second wind here because he's now putting Kai Pearson under pressure.
Yeah, definitely so. It's going to be what? Buckle up is all I'm going to say in the commentary box right now. Buckle up. One wild and wacky ride coming in for the next 8 laps or so in this race. Stonks leading the way. Cameron Dowd in second. If I was going to put on for the race win, I would have went for Cameron Dowd for the race win. Dare I say that now? He's in a winning position. Stonks there leading the way, though. Cameron Dowd just so quick down the straight. Doesn't really need to do much. He's looking very, very good. But he got himself in trouble last night in PSF1, in PSGL. Is all of that controversy going to come and haunt him back here in WOR Legacy Division? He's got a much more controlled head. He finished second, of course, in Monaco. He got involved in that battle with Flopman last night. Flopman, luckily, not here for F7R, so he'd be definitely wondering with Stonks. Even with Stonks, that 3-second penalty, Stonks will fight that. TTM will fight that. They're pretty much on very similar strategies right now. But Cameron Dowd has got a little bit of deja vu from Monaco last night. Hopefully he can control his emotions. Hopefully now he is on course maybe for this race win for Team Shazoo as they come up the hill once again through turn number 14. Furious and Gabor looking towards the inside line as well. Gabor's definitely catching quickly on the back of Furious, down in towards turn number 1, but everyone just staying line astern, everyone remaining as they are, and the calm has now hit before the storm hits the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache.
Looking forward to seeing what's coming up here with Cameron Dowd. Is he going to do the same thing he did with TTM Stonks when he just elected to close the DRS and stay within close proximity of the Williams drivers? He tucks in. There it is. Yes, he keeps it in there as Gabba does want to make his inroads. He's going to have to go around the outside though. Furious squeezing him off there though as he gets a little bit of a lock-up. Does the Williams? They'll continue to go side by side. Gabba's got the use of his overtake button though.
Nice.
And Gatkowski now a 3-second time penalty. Very well taken as Novus Racing now 5th and 6th. But both drivers have been pushing incredibly hard. They've got very limited ERS left, and I think that they should imagine anyway their medium tyres are probably going to be a bit more worn than those around them. I think towards the end of this race Novus may begin to struggle. Let's keep an eye out and see what happens.
Rayen trying to go around the outside of Furious into turn number 10 at Bika de Patel. Could have ended up being a duckbill with that Haas, quite literally. Looking again to the inside line and towards turn number 12 at Junsa. Rayen definitely wants to try and get on with things. Gabor's got older tyres. Furious has got much older tyres compared to him. And Rayen is now going to look towards the inside line. Actually gets blocked off there slightly. Might have to go all the way around the outside. Cameron Dowd for the race lead. Going to try and pass Stonks in the foreground of shot. Rayen though looking to the inside line. On the back, the AlphaTauri there of Kai Pearson slowing up, and Furious trying to get the job done. Rayen just forced them a bit like bumper cars as they come now through. Marcanos is fun. Marcanos is fun on the inside line. I think they got all too close for comfort in that battle. Furious and Rayen are still blasting aggressively down the hill in towards turn number 4. Rayen and Furious, the camera angles really don't do it justice, but Rayen now forces Furious off track. Rayen gets the job done through into 7th. All of that, Marcanos again, TF10. Honestly, I'm not sure what has gone on with that. Marcanos just ended up spinning, caught that in the background. Not sure if he got caught in the curb or if he got caught in anyone else. But TF10 have had an absolute wretched race.
Yeah, they've had an appalling race, haven't they, TF10, and that's going to be plenty of learnings to take, especially for Marcados as well, of course, on his return to the console platform. Keep an eye out on Kai Pearson, who's under a lot of pressure. Now you can see that hemorrhaging amount of time because, of course, he's got to try and look after the tyres that he has once actually burnt through quite aggressively, and he's doing what he can to try and help his teammate out. But with the DRS available, I'm expecting the L-Plan Racing team are actually going to be in for some good points tonight. Furious ends up losing position to Daddlepad. Here comes Rayen around the outside line, later on the brakes, you'd have to imagine there, but no, Kai Pearson able to defend it. Switchback opportunity maybe. Switches back once again around the outside to have the outside line of turn 4. He'll continue to go on here with the overtake available here. It's getting really close and precarious here as Rayan next makes the move. Oh, it's very late though. Good defense there from Kai, who defends it on the inside line. Switchback is there though, apparently Rayan says, and manages to find it on the inside line. They'll now go side by side, but no energy left in the power unit of that Ferrari power unit in the back, and the Haas collides into the back of him ever so slightly. Kai stays in 6th, but he is now the massive defender here for Gabba to try and make the inroads here. Gabba is now 2 seconds.
Oh, if you're like me on the camera right now, I am absolutely just living every moment of this race. I've got head in my hands and all sorts. Rayan again looking to the outside on Kai Pearson. Kai Pearson is literally, and all intents and purposes, Kai's a very good driver, but he's a bit like a snail at this stage. Rayan cannot find a way through. Kai Pearson, I think, defending as hard as what Sunderland are doing right now against Leicester with that 1-0 advantage that they've got. Daddlepad on the back of Rayan once again, in towards turn 1. Could be 3 wide down the straight. The NLR man now coming wide of the pair. Now going around the outside of turn 1. Could end up in tears for one of them. Daddlepad around the outside of Rayan. Beautiful move, actually. Kai Pearson holds that off. Daddlepad, that was absolutely beautiful from him. And now he's going to get the run on Kai Pearson down the straight. He's got barely any battery, no battery at all. Camera angles again, not doing it justice, but Daddlepad looks to the outside line on Kai Pearson. Cross the track there, Kai Pearson there, going slow through turn number 4. And Rayan now gets the move as well, up on the outside line. All of this, by the way, Cameron down to 6 tenths in front. Stonks in 2nd, Yossi there in 3rd. Daddlepad catching the curb there. The tyres definitely going off, but Daddlepad is the one that comes out on top. They're in 6th position. We're not going to have a voice by the end of this race.
I'll tell you what, though, all of that is now actually helping someone who is massively away from them at the moment in Stonks. He has that 3-second penalty. He's losing the podium as it stands, but he'll still remain potentially as high as 4th as it stands, which would be a really good effort for TTM in this particular race. Of course, 13 laps is only on that tyre. It will be a question of what would have been for Stonks with that 3-second penalty. As again, as I said, very lackadaisical from the main man at the moment. Yossi still in 3rd, and I think he's happy to just maintain 3rd place, knowing he'll get 2nd, because Cameron Dowd is a man in a mission, as Furious is trying to make his inroads. As Kai Pearson, I think he's got some really bad graining at the moment. It looks like the rear left tyre is grained aggressively. The rear right, front right, sorry, as well. But here he comes. He's going to end up getting boxed in though, potentially, and then he's going to get held up on the inside line, and that as a result means he has to hold on for 9th place. And fair play to Kai, because he's not going to make any moves if there's no space available. He stays in 9th, Furious stays in 8th, but lack of ERS across the board at the moment. And would you believe that the person in that little battle at the moment who's probably going to be able to manage his ERS the best, it's actually Rayan for EPL with not even 19% ERS as it stands.
Yeah, 21% as he comes now through the left-hander of turn number 9. This race is just mental. You said it earlier on, it's going to be mental, and it is. Cameron Dowds leads the way, going on towards the penultimate lap of the race here at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache in what has been a brilliant Brazilian race here in Legacy Division once again. It always is in Legacy Division, and indeed in Console T1. But Stonks wants the race lead. He goes for the race lead. Down in towards turn 1. TTM have their man in front. Cameron Dowd's there in 2nd. Because of that 3-second penalty, Stonks' best position, ideally, to try and drag this out, is to be out in front. Try and get Yossi and Ryan battling in behind. Then all knows he could be on the podium. Stonks there now leading. Cameron Dowd's in 2nd, but Cameron Dowd doesn't really have to get this move. But knowing him, racer's instinct will take over, and he will want that race win. Gabor picks up a 3-second penalty, and that now means Stonks is definitely on for 4th.
Yeah, definitely on for 4th now here for Stonks, and that is the best case scenario for him now, because it means everyone behind that could be within close proximity is now not going to be challenging him. But to say the least, what the thing will be upsetting him the most is that the people closest to him are all without penalties. So he'll be hoping that by potentially being in 1st might cause Cameron Dowd a few mistakes. Maybe dirty air will cause him to not really feel what the car feels like at the moment out there. It's really, really close stuff out there, and it's absolutely fascinating to say the least. As we now start the final lap of this race, Cameron Dowds no doubt will want to take this lead regardless, because he won't want to challenge Stonks if they think that there's potentially the 3-second penalty could be removed. He's now back into 1st place.
He is back into 1st place. Watch out for the man though in P4. Look at the ERS that he has got compared to everyone. Oh, he catches the curve on the inside. Ryan's got 40% VRS. Yossi's got 8%, Stonks on 9, Cameron Dowd's on 14. Ryan is in play here. He has got those tyres on Yossi. He might not have them on Stonks and Cameron Dowd's. Those two fight. Ryan's back in contention. There's a yellow flag, and that's your Roan again, I think, spinning. Coming through the right hand of there, turn number 1. Cameron Dowd's still leading the way. Stonks in second. Yossi there in third. Ryan is gearing this up all the way up the hill in towards the Peter Dust boxes. I would not be surprised if he gets second out of this race. I'm saying it now. Coming in towards the right-hander now of turn number 10 once again at Pico de Pato. Cameron Dowd has controlled this race throughout. It hasn't been easy for him. It's been a bit workmanlike, but now the Scotsman comes through the final corner. Stonks is going to try and have one more opportunity running up the hill. Everyone in a big old DRS train. This is where Ryan, though, kicks in and turns the overspeed. He looks to try and get Yossi down the straight. Cameron Dowd, though, to the line. Will win here in Brazil. Stonks in second, but Ryan gets second just on the line. Ahead of Yossi. In fact, no, it's not. 2,000th of a second. 2,000th of a second between Yossi and Ryan. I was saying he timed that to absolute perfection. He didn't in the end. Oh my word. P3, 2,000th of a second. NLR will still be very happy with that. I guarantee it. But Cameron Dowds, Cammy Dowds, to give him his full name, he's out on top. Yossi there in second, Ryan there in third. Fantastic race in Brazil. Yes, there'll be stewards' penalties. Yes, we'll be having a lie down after this. But honestly, we were here for the moment, and the moment was lived.
Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic, to say the least. It's going to be 34 points as well for TTM, with Furious in 7th. It's a good points haul for the team that are, you know, struggling to get the points haul out there at the moment. Of course, NLR, though, their nearest rivals, have scored well, with Ryan and Daddlepad down in 9th. So really mixed bag. It's a good points haul for the midfield. F7R a little bit out of place as well, of course, with that incident with his teammate Yaron keeps spinning out there as well. It's again another one of those incidents where F7R have got a driver towards the front and a driver towards the rear. They need to snap out of it if they want to be title contenders in this season. But a fantastic race nonetheless, and a fantastic result in the championship, as Sheffield Wednesday are now 1-0 up.
Sheffield Wednesday now 1-0 up, which is always good. Cameron Dowd has 1-0 up here for Team Shazoo as well. Here tonight, he gets one over on his nearest rivals and he takes the race win. Yossi, to be fair, barely held on to second there. Ryan had everything in his power to get second, and in the end, 2,000th of a second was close enough. You never know. Game might be wrong. Ryan might have been ahead at the line. I certainly thought he was ahead at the line, but obviously he wasn't. Cameron Dowd taking the race win. Cameron's dad very happy, by the way, in the chat, saying, what a race, my boy, as he says there in the chat. Jividor saying, what a race. It was an absolute instant classic in terms of Brazil race. I really hope you enjoyed it. Cameron Dowd takes the race win. I kind of did say half-heartedly that he would win the race as well, so I'll take a double on that. Yossi there in second, Ryan there in third, with Stonks in the end in fourth. TTM, best result of the season by an absolute mile. Gabor there in fifth, with Ryan in sixth, Furious there in seventh, Kai Pearson there in eighth, Daddlepad there in ninth, and then 2D rounding off the top 10. BRT Lou, 11th out of that race, and gets fastest lap as well, so very, very good from him. Markador's in 12th, Kakowski 13th, Christian there in 14th, Rowan 15th, and Frankus in 16th on his debut. Justin Leonardo there down in 18th. He had issues with his internet. Wiener and Tom out of the race after that. That one incident, that will definitely go down. That will definitely get reported from ET8 and Shazoo's perspective. Great, great race, that Jota. Oh my word. We need to live in the moment, I think, more often here in Legacy's division, because sometimes the racing absolutely works. It absolutely does. The cameras will come back on, I hope, in just a moment. I hope they're going to work. There we are. Well, we might be frozen. There we are. But there we are. We are back now on the camera screen. What a race that was in Brazil. An absolute instant classic. Oh, my word. Talk us through that. It was mental.
Yeah. It was absolutely mental from start to finish. Even through qualifying, it was always suggested it was going to end up being a really, really intense race, wasn't it? And I'm really looking forward to hearing from the drivers as well to talk about their perspectives of this race. Brilliant from start to finish. I'm also going to be sort of screaming out here for the Outplanned Racing team. They're now no longer 11th in a 10-team championship, as they now go above Outplayed Racing with that fantastic result as well. For what is a fantastic result, I think it was for fifth, wasn't it, in the end for Outplanned? So exactly what they needed for, I think it was fifth or sixth anyway, 18 or 15 points respectively. That'll take them above Outplayed Racing. It's what they needed, and I'm certainly looking forward to hearing what we've got from the people that want to speak to us tonight here, as it looks like we've actually got Shazoo, one of the Shazoo peeps in with us.
We have, and the camera's messed up because of that. I was not expecting that at all coming in there to the commentary box. The man who has joined us, of course, is Mr. Cameron Dowds, our race winner, out on track. And Cameron, I know I interviewed you last night in PSGL PSF1. That must feel good, though. Another race win on the board. Fantastic, fantastic race from you. Talk us through it.
Yeah, qualifying was a decent lap. I think there was maybe half a tenth, a bit more than that in it. Maybe half a tenth to nearly a tenth, but it was still a good lap. And then in the race, yeah, I've felt really, really good. I've not felt that good in quite a long time. I just felt rapid, and then I had Tom engineering me, and then I knew the battery levels of the rest, and I had quite a lot more than the rest of them, like the whole race. So, and I felt very confident in the car. So that was nice. And then, yeah, it was fun, especially the second stint on the mediums, just battling through the field. And then I think I messed up a little bit because when I shouldn't have went into first and burned all of that, because I was on like 80 or 90 battery, and then the rest behind me were on like stonks. When I passed him was on 20. And then I tried to use everything to get at the DRS, and I just it did not work. And then we were all on the same. But luckily, I still managed to win. But it felt like an almost perfect race for my end, especially pace wise. But those last 5 laps, when I decided to pass and use all that battery, that was a big mistake. So I need to make sure not to do that again. But apart from that, I'm really happy with how I performed.
I'm glad you're really happy you didn't have a Frenchman alongside you to try and fight with either in Flopman like last night. But talk us through that race, because it was a bit changeable. Obviously, the tyres was a big factor as well in that race. You opted to go a little bit longer in terms of your stint in the first stint and then go for the mediums second half of the race. Did you feel that the fear potentially that the tyres would grind ever so much? Because Kai Pearson certainly had that, and he was on pretty much the same strategy as you.
Yeah, I thought that the soft medium strategy was a bit better, to be honest. The softs didn't really drop off very much, and then, well, I don't know, to be fair, because the fresher mediums by even just like 2 laps or 3 laps was quite substantial. But definitely at the start, the softs, like, yeah, I felt Yossi had more grip than me right up until he pitted, to be honest. He was gaining on me in the middle sector. I don't know if that was to do with wings or what, but the softs seemed really good. But the mediums, I think the overcut that I did, I think it worked quite well. I prefer an overcut to an undercut. I like being like the hunter rather than the hunted, because there's not that fear. So yeah, it was quite nice just pitting later, having fresher tyres, and then just trying to get through the pack.
Yeah, really nice indeed. And obviously having to work for it, definitely. And I think what we've seen from you is you like to get your hands dirty in terms of racing. I'm not saying you're a dirty driver, far from it. But in terms of the racing, it's been a bit workmanlike. We normally see these dominating performances. We've seen it last season, of course, in cross-play Tier 2. And now we're seeing the other side of you, where you're having to get dirty, you're having to try and win races the hard way. Is that the style of racing that you prefer to like? Getting dirty, trying to get the essentially like the best out of the race and basically made to work for it, or would you rather have that domination effect?
I love working for it, to be honest. I think it's quite a lot more satisfying than dominating it, especially when like you come out on the, like, when even today when I did that overcut and you come out in like 8th and then you end up getting up the first. It's a very satisfying feeling. I much prefer like battling hard to the end than dominating. It's a lot better.
Yeah, I much prefer to qualify in pole position like I did on Saturday and then end up ruining my race like I do every week. But there we are. Jota, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
Yeah, no, I've got one question just surrounding qualifying, to be honest with you. I mean, the race itself was intense, but qualifying was, as I keep alluding to, was one of the best qualifying sessions I have seen in 7 years of commentary. You know, from your side, from a driving perspective, what is it like being under that much pressure, knowing that everybody's separated by literally thousands of a second?
Well, I didn't even really look at the gaps until I didn't know how close it would be until I completed my lap, and I really did not think that I'd be pole. I messed up the last corner a bit, and then there was just it was a bit of an edgy lap. I felt there was maybe definitely half a tenth more, and around this track, that's like makes well as you've seen, half a tenth was like 4 positions today or something, which is pretty mental. But yeah, I don't really look at the gaps and that, and I just tried to like make sure not to put a lot of pressure on myself, and it usually helps because if you end up really putting pressure on yourself, you just get like a shaky leg or like, and then you end up locking the brakes or going on the throttle too late or too early, and it just kind of messes you up. So I just try and keep a cool head when I'm going onto a quali lap.
You know, looking forward then, you know, to the rest of the season. We're at Las Vegas, I believe, in the next round, and then of course we've got that double header with France and China. You know, Team Shizou, really, really good effort for the team now moving forward. You know, what are the expectations going through this part of the calendar now?
Well, I don't think I'm doing Las Vegas next week. I'm not sure who's doing that, but hopefully our team can just keep a strong roster, and then I think I'm still going to be doing 2 or 3 more races this season. Well, how many races is left?
Well, it's
Half
round
the
six
season.
now, round six now, and that's all done. So we're now halfway through the season, round 7 through 15.
Oh, okay, right. That's what I thought. Yeah, I'll definitely be doing 3 or 4 more races this season. So for now, I won't be racing next week. But hopefully we just keep a strong roster up, and then I'll see what I can do when I'm racing again. It should be fun.
Yeah, be a shame not to see you next weekend, but nonetheless, a great performance from yourself, you know, and Team Shazoo generally. I think if everything all works out right in my head at the moment, you're going to be in very close proximity to F7R, if not overtaking them. The points are now being added up. So we'll obviously get that through to you guys in a few short moments. But for myself, Cameron, thank you very much. James.
Yeah, that's it from me. Cam, go and enjoy evening.
All right, thank you. You too.
You are very welcome indeed. And we can now speak to the man who is going to be absolutely annoyed with himself, finishing in the end in P3, 2,000ths of a second behind Yossi per second. It is Mr. NLR Ryan. And Ryan, I was looking at you on the penultimate lap of the race. About 50% ERS, I was like, yeah, he's going to get these guys up the hill. He's going to go for second. Said it in commentary. You come up 2,000 short. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I prepared that pretty well with my ERS, and I saw everyone flashing ahead. But yeah, on a run down to the line, Yossi obviously picked the inside line, and yeah, I had the longer way around him, and I don't know, maybe I finished ahead, but the game didn't award it to me. But yeah, the time is not lying. I'm behind, but still happy to get my first podium in World.
Still very happy to get a first podium in World, definitely. Obviously, following on from Daddlepad's win, of course, 2 weeks ago in Baku. NLR are definitely hitting this good, rich vein of form. Obviously, your podium tonight, Daddlepad's win 2 weeks ago in Baku. How's the mood in the camp going into the rest of the season?
I mean, the mood is pretty good. The mood is really, really good, especially after last week's win. But I'm sure after this result, we will move further up in the standings. I think maybe P5 actually now. I don't have the correct numbers in my head, but yeah, really, really happy with that result, obviously. And I'm sure we can get a few more good results in this season.
Yeah, definitely so. Obviously, with that ERS usage as well, you were very shrewd, I think, in terms of your strategy as well. And same question pretty much to what I referred to with Cameron there. Obviously, graining was a big effect for Kai Pearson throughout the field. He was dropping down the field. Were you worried at all that the tyres were going to go off, or were you just very comfortable with how you were going?
No, I think I was pretty comfortable with it. I think I pitted in lap 18, I believe. And then I was sure I will get through it. And I saw Cameron on 2 laps fresher tires, so I knew this is going to be really, really hard against him. Also against Kai, who I was following for stint 2 the whole time, fighting through the field. And yeah, I knew that Cameron will be the fastest in the closing laps. And yeah, I mean, the graining wasn't that bad. I think I had 1 lap fresher, 1 lap fresher tire than Yossi had. And yeah, it was pretty equal, I would say.
Yeah, pretty equal, which is good because normally around this track it is pretty equal in terms of the tyres. There's not really much difference between softs, mediums, and mediums to hards. Joseph, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
Yeah, no, one final question from myself, actually, just a simple one about the team itself. Now, obviously, James alluded to the fact that you guys are now off the back of back-to-back podiums. Obviously, the race win for Daddlepad and a 3rd place for yourself. That now puts your team on 100 points in World, and that puts you 5th overall. You're 66 behind ET8, but I think it is 14 in front of the Bunga Racing team. So, form slowly but surely starting to get into play. What is the long-term goal now? We're coming to the midway point in the season. What are you guys aiming for? Is it going to be more of the same, or is there going to be more of a consistent run? Because I know that there's a big difference between you and your teammate again this race.
Yeah, I mean, we NLR joined after round 1, so we had 1 race less than everyone else. But obviously, the aim is to get as much points as possible and to maybe finish inside the top 3. But yeah, as you said, 66 points is a lot. But with 1 or 2 good results, we can definitely get into the mix. And yeah, maybe we will get another podium in the next races or another win. So that would be cool.
130 points behind F7R at the moment, but the F7R themselves only 4 points in front of Team Shazoo at the end of that race. We'll go through the standings in a few short moments, but from NLR's perspective, obviously you did come in, that 1 step later. You end up not qualifying, but what a bounce back to get now into the 100s of points. So a great effort from yourself and the team at NLR. Thank you very much, James.
Yep, all from me as well. Go and enjoy your evening, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Very welcome indeed. And that rounds us off very neatly in terms of WOR Legacy Division here tonight. If you enjoyed what I'm liking to call the instant classic that we had tonight, you can like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. As Jota has already mentioned as well, in terms of the calendar, we are moving to Las Vegas, the City of Lights. The strip, everything is going to go down in Las Vegas. If it's anything like last season, God almighty, we're going to be in for a race and a half.
Yeah, it should be an absolute blinder to say the least. Las Vegas usually brings all, the intensity of the race. The long straights. That people are going to be a little bit precarious about their ERS. Are they going to be aggressive? Are they not? That is going to be one to watch, of course, with the calendar going beyond that. Of course, in round 8, we've got the double header, 35% short qualifying rounds at France and China. So that's going to be a little bit of a mixed bag as well. Spain, and then of course round 10 at Italy is going to also be a bit of a fun one nonetheless. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing what the calendar's got coming up, especially with what the standings look like as well, James, with F7R leading the championship by only 4 points now after that mixed result for the team. Team Shazoo similarly win, but no points for the second driver. Novus Racing just tucking in behind on 208, and then ET8 on 166. The top 4 separated by 64 points, and NLR breaching into the hundreds.
Yeah, breaching into the hundreds indeed. They're in 5th on 100. Bunga Racing Team 6th on 86. Very tight between 6th and 8th actually as well. TF10 and 7th on 83. TTM on 82. So 1 point in it between those two teams. CPI in 9th on 48. L-Plan Racing, luckily, are not like FRT last season, coming last. They're in 10th now on 35, and Outplayed Racing now are at the bottom end of the field. Down on 29 points. They will, of course, always remain that way as well. Moving forward. Fantastic race, though, here, of course, in Brazil. Really hope you enjoyed the stream. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. We, of course, are going to be sprinting and featuring in Las Vegas next week on March 12th, so hope you can be there. I might have backed a few winners on the first day of the Cheltenham Festival by then as well. But for myself and Mr. Jota, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, goodbye.